You have to study.
No, they think that I just come in there and look for knockoffs, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, what happened? I'm here. Who wanted to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Welcome to Bodywork.
Distance on it because it has that bend. You expect it to.
Welcome back. It's Michael Rogers. Welcome to Bodywork Boxing. It feels so good to be back. It's another good evening, man. Boxing is heating up. But the landscape of boxing is changing, man. And I kind of tried to warn y'all, man. I said this a while ago, man. I was like, this new age of boxing, man, and how we looking at it. First of all, American boxing. It's there. It's fights that can be made. We need these fights to go and come through, man. We can't withstand too many fight cancellations and too much, outside of the ring shenanigans. That's why we speak to the things that we need to when it comes to these boxers and the shenanigans that be going on. But I recall it was a time when I was basically saying when I found out that oh shit. You all right, AC?
Yeah. I forgot something in the kitchen. My bad. I didn't even know I was live like that.
Well, it was a time when see something here. Mic check, mic check, 1 2 1 2, sounding fantastic.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, Cookie Monster.
Salute to Cookie Monster too.
Salute. But it was a time, right, where I was looking at boxing, right, and y'all know who my favorite fighters are. Y'all at least know the top 3. And I was saying, man, my little guy, man, he take a lot of heat, but people always used to mock that he was the face of boxing. And I'm like, why are we even having a debate when everybody who was sitting down getting interviewed about a fight or had a fight going, much like what Keyshawn is doing now, just out of the blue, I knocked Tank out in the interview. Like, I mean, you at 140, you debuting at 140, and you saying after this you want to go to 147. But everybody be needing that shot in their arm, and so they use Tank's name. And so I used to always find myself grappling with, and this is why I stopped really doing a lot of content on Tank, because everybody know that I'm a Tank fan, huge Tank fan, probably the biggest Tank fan out here. I just said I'm not going to do content and just use his name, and I'm going to do like I do everybody else. When they got something going on and it's relevant and I got something to go by, then I'll do content on them. But if you see how I do things, I don't just put his face up there and put his name in the title and just put him in anything, and just, to get my likes, clicks, and views up. I said a long time ago, I said, I'm not going to do that, man. He got enough people going against him. He got enough people that be trying to represent him who don't really make him look right. But since, you know, there are so many ops, right, of Tanks, some of them who I'm still a fan of, it's just when they fight Tank, I got Tank, pretty much. The closest time I ever came divided was thinking about a Mr. Gary Russell in the Tank. And that's just me being from where I'm from, growing up in Landover, Maryland, PG County, you know what I'm saying, having family, being born in DC, and then me after, you know, spending some time in the Army, going down south, and then moving back, you know, to Maryland, being in Baltimore, which is a whole different place. But I've been up here for a minute now, like about 9 years. I've been back up here for about 9. So that was the only ones I was divided by. But like, I always find myself having these conversations where it's like, people want to debate whether or not he was the face of boxing or is the face of boxing. I'm like, it's pretty obvious he is, because everybody talks about him. Anybody can call him out. Everybody says his name before the interview. At one point in time, he had Conor Ben, he had Inouye, Devin, Shakur, Keyshawn. You know, he had so many different people from so many different like weight classes, in and around the weight classes. Ryan wanting a rematch. You know, it was just Pitbull wanting a rematch. You know, Mr. Gary Russell wanting some to have a DMV classic, which I don't blame. He just needed to get up to 135, and now he's at 135. But when I was looking at the landscape and I found myself listening to some people that do content and, you know, supporting their fighters, I always was saying, well, who's going to be, who can stake the claim? I mean, unless they fight and they beat him up, or, you know, he lose to them or whatever, and like, unless they really can stake claim, like, unless they fight like that, it really can't be passed. Because when he get active, that's where all the attention go. He can come out and do like a 20-second clip and it go viral with him demonstrating that his knee is good. Like, you know, it's like, so I'm like, who else got that kind of it factor? Who else got that thing? Like who else pretty much got the whole boxing world on smash, interviews and everything? Like, who else? And so the powers that be have been slowly forcing us to go after like the ones who they deem. Because remember, I always say, he who controls the printed page controls the thinking of this age. Shout out to Melazar. So being that media, which is magic, basically, like the media has been forcing a couple guys, like they kind of like Bud, he grabbed the bull by the horns. He had 2 great victories at the tail end of his career. So they kind of thrust him up there, but it was like, it was too late. You know what I'm saying? He was like a late bloomer in a sense, because he had got all his cachet after he did what he did to Earl. That's what really like boosted his stock. And then, you know what I'm saying, him moving up, and then him ultimately jumping up all the way up to 168 and dusting off Canelo. By that time, like maybe he could, but like as far as like the people being behind him and all that, like hardcores recognize him as like #1 pound for pound, and, you know, acknowledged his accolades and his achievements and things like that, and his skills, you know, over the years, which culminated in those 2 victories. But him grabbing that torch, it was too late. And then before you knew it, he was gone. So here comes what AC called the Brat Pack. And, you know, you got Clarissa, you got Andre Ward, you got Tim Bradley, you got Shakur, you got all of the people, like SS3 is what it's called now. It's no longer DB3, it's SS3. So now you got this league of friends. I don't even know what to call this, man. It's such a weird time in boxing, man, where it's like, you know, it's wild. But what I'm getting at is, when I found out that Keyshawn, like when I came out with that Batman and Robin, and I was like, man, don't ask. Like, you know, they're never gonna fight. Just don't ask. Just stop beating the dead horse. Like when that was etched in stone, me as I consider myself a boxing historian now. I consider myself a hardcore. Like, so some things that appeals to me. And then I'm 45, so I'm in a different age group. Like I grew up watching like Roy Jones, and that was my favorite fighter. Mike Tyson was one of my favorite fighters. I used to like Winky Wright. He always used to get down. But I realized that boxing was going to be in trouble, mainly because if I want to be more specific, I was looking at 140 because I always said 140 was my division. I rock with 135 because I knew Tank was running it. I knew everything that was going on, but I kind of liked the 140 division, man. I was like, man, that's right before the Glamour division, but I started seeing that, man, that's a competitive division. And I was saying that if we allow, I said this earlier on, you go back and look at the old videos, the old lives, like my real videos, the ones that be 15, 20, 30 minutes, sometimes 7 minutes, whatever, however long I was doing when I was doing them. I was saying, man, like if we allow this friendship stuff to happen, especially with it's okay at the lower levels when you just getting your feet wet before you really get established, because things happen. Creed stuff happen. People get mad, people get upset, people fight. Look at the brothers, look at the Vargas brothers, look at the Charlo twins. Look at the fact that Earl Spence and Jermell Charlo keep having these rumors with their names being attached and them coming back to fight each other, which at one point in time when people were really pushing for it, they was ready to call people ducks. They was asking for the Charlos at one point in time to fight each other. But to know that their names are linked, and at the time when they had Derek Jones, like, how is that going to work? Is Derek, because are they going to be the same without Derek? Now, ultimately, yeah, Mel Charlo went on to bring on Juan Guzman. He started taking a more dominant role or whatever. And of course, he came from Ronnie Shields before Derek James. But in the present times, like, man, they cool. They in the same stable. They cool. But like people were out pushing for that. So when I heard this whole thing about Keyshawn and Shakur, I was just like, what are we talking about? I was like, man, okay, so all right, maybe it's okay. I was like, but I don't think so because they're elites. You're talking about two of the most elite because they went over there and medaled. You know what I'm saying? So in their time, you can, as far as what they was able to achieve, silver medalists, they're not like Andre who got the gold, or Andy who got the gold, but like they silver medal. So we're talking about two elites in the same weight class. And I was like, this is going to be a problem. Why? Because I knew that either one of them really didn't belong at 35. How did I know? Shakur had been talking about, man, it's been 2 years strong when he been saying he was bigger than Tio. He's been bigger than Tio for a minute. Like him having his man body and all this stuff people are starting to say right now, like he been had that body. You know what I'm saying? It's just, and if you notice, he's always guarded in the interviews about when people, ask him about his weight, like, oh, no, I ain't gonna tell you that. I ain't gonna, he always keep that close to the vest. And I'm like, what's the big secret? Especially when people like Andre Ward saying that weight bullying was something new to him and all that. I mean, what's the secret? What do you walk around? I mean, we know Jermell Charlo, he walk around close to his fight weight. That's what made him so dominant at 54. So when everybody was sucking down or whatever, that's something that he did not have to worry about. When he went into training camp, having a fat cap, that was something he did not have to worry about. Earl used to do it. You know what I'm saying? Earl, we know what Earl liked to have party and have fun. So Earl used to spend a part of it being, having fat camps and all that. You know what I'm saying? He kind of yo-yoed a little bit, which kind of took his toll. But I was saying, okay, they don't belong there. I said, but I forecasted that as they go up in divisions, this is going to be a real problem. And I was looking forward because I'm like, yeah, I was like, they pretty much, both of them, I knew Keyshawn and Shakur pretty much belonged at 140. I knew that. And then you also know, if you've been following the bouncing ball all along, there was this agreement that Shakur had with Devin, where they said they pretty much was agreeing that they always was gonna fight one weight class apart. I think stuff hit the fan when Shakur blew weight, and then he was forced to kind of move up. And, he didn't have no leverage, but he jumped in the ring with Devin, and it kind of took everybody by surprise. And that's when we had got the whole around that time, that general timeline is when we got that whole recording of Bill talking about, man, if it get hot, we was like, basically when things get hot, they was gonna move up out of the division. Even though that year they said there would be no other champion, in that division, and then that's when he declared that he was gonna fight Regis Prograis. He jumped up there, that whole 25% thing, which is like, I go back and forth, I teeter-totter on that, what I'm saying, from both perspectives. My views still kind of change on it as I reflect on it, because at the current time I was like, what 25%? Even going by what Bob Arum said, what 25%? Like, that's not even something real. But people say that, and I'm like, in principle, I agree with people saying, yeah, he should have just accepted it. But I had already foreseen, I'm like, well, if you and Devin had this thing where y'all gonna go down a yellow brick road. Now listen, this is why I say the Keyshawn and Shakur thing, this shit is like Creed 5 in the making. Because if you remember, Shakur was tight with Devin. They said they went on road trips, they traveled. Panda had both of them. The coach that was Sabril's former coach, he had both of them. He had awareness about both of them or whatever. And somehow, some way, they I forgot what their fallout was. I don't know if it was the recording. I don't know if it was Shakur finally saying, I want to fight you. And I don't know if he was turning up for the media, if it was a media ploy. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just know I've been following this thing along, but like, if you follow what I'm saying is, Shakur was friends with Devin. They had agreed they were going to go down a yellow brick road together. They was always going to fight one division apart, and at some point, if they had to fight, they was going to fight, or they said that they were going to fight later on down the line. That was like some unwritten thing that they had going on or whatever. So then when you bring up Keyshawn, I'm like, until Keyshawn really came on the scene, nobody knew that they was like BFFs like that. And then we just allowed it. Like, we was like, oh, they cool, you know what I'm saying? And people started saying, oh, man, look at y'all want two brothers. Y'all act like they was like Jonathan and David, even though if you read that book, you'll realize what kind of relationship Jonathan and David really had. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't go deep enough. You ain't go deep enough into your studies. But I was saying, listen, this is going to be a problem as these guys get bigger, as they move up in weight classes. It's not going to be able to sustain itself, especially when, I don't care what nobody say, we know that belts matter. Belts shouldn't be the end all be all when there's a big fight, so when champion's not available, but we know to some extent the belts do matter. That distinguish like the contenders from the real champs, and that puts you in a place to where you have to defend the throne. Like, there's politics in the belts. There's ways people maneuver in the rankings and all of that. But we pick and choose when belts matter, when accolades matter, and all that. I don't like when people use that kind of stuff to kind of avoid fights and to try to manipulate things. And you know when we're doing it. Like, you know when the boxers are doing it. But when you got fighters and they got titles, but they don't want to fight each other, and they're pledging their allegiance to each other, and they're friends, it's going to be a problem. Well, guess what, guys? The problem has spread. Salute the Hill and Honey. The problem has spread. This problem is not like now, it's almost like a coalition now. So you got the gatekeepers in Timothy Bradley and Andre Ward with all them softball ass interviews, all this pussy ass like coddling that they do, all this caping and capping. It's like, damn, man, like, it's enough people on YouTube doing that shit. Y'all are Hall of Famers. Y'all don't even need to do that. I'm sure y'all want to give back to the youth, to the younger bros, but like, give back to them all. Go out of your way to support them all. But it's a lot of jockstrap riding. And I'm like, it's wild because you got Shakur, his allegiance with Keyshawn. Keyshawn got DB3. He tried to do this shit with Abdullah Mason. Abdullah Mason was like, nah, I'm fighting everybody. I got my own brothers. The Mason 5, I got my own. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we good. He pushed that off. You got Ray Ford, who's up under the wing, who Keyshawn pretty much tried to pawn Oshaki off when Oshaki doing it the hard way. That's why I respect the Tank Davises. I respect the Oshakis. I respect the Abdullah Masons. I respect the Brian Normans. Like, you know, these guys, like this new crop, man, I'm telling y'all, man, we are going into a territory to where boxing, man, it's like, man, we almost at the point of no return with this shit. And why you say that, Mike? If you listen, I'm gonna tell you, right? I'm gonna tell y'all. That's my pre-rant for what this is all about. That's my pre-rant, right? Because Richardson Hitchens is one of my guys. I thought he was, you know, standing alone doing, you know what I'm saying? But like I see now that the great Shakur Stevenson, man, like this dude must be, man, he's a genius, man. But he basically done I seen something with Richardson Hitchens. I seen an interview and watched it, and I was just like, man, we in the soft and sassy era, man. Like, I don't think y'all knew what y'all was doing when y'all was really trying to really like what you call it, upseat. You was trying to upseat Tank Davis out of that spot, which you really can't do it, because when he decide he coming back, his mind right, he got his affairs in order. I mean, it's still gonna be cold red on every blood clot body, and I mean, it's still gonna be that. But like with everybody pushing for, you know, this musical chair shit, and everybody trying to anoint who's the face and who got the pull and who got this, and the media doing what they doing, y'all are ushering us into a soft and sassy era. Y'all are ushering us into a rainbow coalition type thing. Like, this is Barney and Friends. That's the pre-rant, man. But let me get into the housekeeping. Man, and so we can really cook. There's my stuff. Housekeeping. Tank body shot stoppage bowl. The WBC 147 title defense, Barrios versus Ryan, February 21st, 2026. Now listen, the young man I was talking about just now, who's suffering a little bit of adversity in his life, taking some time to get right, get his affairs in order, get his mind right, and have a healthy comeback. He stopped both of these guys to the body, doing that body work. And here they are, once again, just like Lamont and Pitbull, getting it on. Lamont had a little more success. It was a draw. He arguably won. Pitbull, he got beat with one hand. You know what I'm saying? That's probably one of the ones where you can see in the latter part, in the more recent times, where Tank had to like really pull out his tools out of his, you know what I'm saying, out of the toolbox and really box. That's a classic fight. But just like that, you have Ryan Garcia facing or going for the WBC strap that Mario Barrios has. So Ryan is attempting to unstrap Mario Barrios. Now, there need to be a GPS on Mario Barrios, because Mario Barrios, I mean, he get as many draws as Lamont Roach. You know what I'm saying? It's like his best performance to me was when he fought Ugas. It's questionable whether or not Ugas was the same after Errol Spence. Yeah, Errol Spence might have really he might have really bookended Ugas' career. I don't know what happened. Ugas wasn't Ugas, you know, that's the best performance I've seen with Mario Barrios. But they had a press conference today, and I watched it. You know what I'm saying? I gotta stay in tune so I know what people are talking about when it goes on or whatever. And Ryan is he's playing up on this whole Goosen going over there to Mario Barrios' corner. And this was already teased. I forgot. I think that was the Oshaki fight when they had Mario Barrios come out there, had a couple questions, and Goosen came out there and they asked him, and that's when they kind of rolled it out that Goosen would be in the corner of Mario Barrios. Now, Goosen is Ryan's former trainer, and Ryan's playing up on the fact that you hurt my feelings and all this. He's being all animated. Ryan being Ryan. A little more playful, a little more animated. He wasn't as solemn and serious and quiet, but like he's playing up on that. And Goosen is like, he's taking it back. Like, listen, man, this is business. But I remember if my memory served me correct, it's kind of funny because Oscar is the promoter, and this is a Golden Boy PBC venture. This is why I do want this to be very successful, because when everybody was like shitting on the PBC and everybody was doing their in-house thing, the PBC bared all the grunt. But all of these guys, Top Rank, PBC, Golden Boy, all of them guys should have been working together. You know what I'm saying? So now they're kind of like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend type thing. So now they kind of got to work together, and they see where American boxing is going. So we need these kind of events to be successful. That's just like the Shakur Foster and the Stephen Fulton. Well, Shakur Foster, he's Top Rank. Fulton, he's PBC. Very successful event. Shakur put belt to ass. Clinical. You know what I'm saying? Fire. That was a fire card. So we need this event to be successful. But I recall, since we're talking about Oscar, whereas my memory served me correct, when he fought Floyd, who was in his corner? Wasn't it the Mayweather in his corner? When he fought Floyd, wasn't that some kind of awkward? So I'm like, Oscar's playing up on it. He's trying to piggyback off of Ryan, but I recall, if my memory served me correct, you know what I'm saying, it was a Mayweather in that Oscar corner. So it's funny how these things happen, and you know what I'm saying, and now like it's almost like the shoe is on the other foot, and Oscar's doing his thing as a promoter. But I find that an interesting little wrinkle about this situation. Coaches change. You're gonna go up against the ops. Like sometimes you're gonna, like Brett, man, he's done it. He's been in the corner of a couple different people facing some, like, so these kind of things happen. I got to keep my eye out on whether or not this is going to be something like a real factor. I think it is a factor, because when a coach can have you practicing and working on tendencies or whatever, he probably can, give you the script, but you still gotta walk it like you talk it. You still got to go out there and run the play. Somebody can design the play. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can organize all the plays on the 2-minute drill. They can draw up a play with 6 seconds left on the clock for somebody to get an open shot, but you still got to go out there and execute that shit. I'm still trying to gauge where Ryan is in this whole ordeal. Barrio seems like he's being very serious. He's not playing into Ryan's antics or whatever. And he's standing firm on the fact that he had a hangover from, having this dub scrub from smacking Devin because of the Oster ring. And the fact that he had a layoff. And so he wasn't motivated. His demeanor was a little different going into the Rolly fight. I can give you that. That was my upset of the year last year. That's already on wax. I did a video live about it. I spoke about it. I gave a couple awards out. You know what I'm saying? Or acknowledgments. And that was the upset, because I didn't really see Rolly doing that to Ryan. You know what I'm saying? And, I kind of like, part of me is like, I don't know what to believe when it comes down to Ryan. I think that, man, like, if there ever was like talent that was like wasted, man, that'd be Ryan, man. Because a focused Ryan, somebody who really took this shit serious and lived the boxer's lifestyle and didn't have all those distractions, you know what I'm saying? Maybe he had to change his sheets, from silk back to wool or some shit. He would be a very dangerous. If he would have developed and added some more wrinkles to his game, man, he would be very dangerous. He would be more than formidable. He'd be probably one of the hardest dudes to beat. because his speed, power, his frame, he got the makings of. He could have been the new and improved. He could have been Oscar 2.0, but like with more one punch knockout power. Like if he catch you and set it up right, you know what I'm saying? But I digress from that, and I say this. I kind of believe he did have a hangover for the Rolly. I'm not gonna look into it too much. I think Ryan, he can get the job done because I don't know about Mario Barrios, man. He's like a villainous strumpet at this point. Everybody gets a turn. Like they just passing him around like a bong at a bachelor party. And I don't know. So I question, this is a GPS fight for me. This is going to tell me where they both at. I'm kind of past Mario Barrios, you know what I'm saying? I think that he's a definitely professional, definitely good spirit, you know what I'm saying? But like both of these dudes got stopped to the body. Barrios was sitting up there talking about how he don't quit and all this. It's like, man, Tank stopped you to the body, bro. You know what I'm saying? Say what you want, but that's going on. Number 2, the IBF 140 title defense, Hitchens versus Duarte, has been confirmed. We game all night. Salute. We need this card to be exciting. That's right, Melazar. That's right. The Hitchens versus Duarte has been confirmed. Now, there are mixed reviews about that, and you know, I'm a Richardson Hitchens is my guy. I know Melazar. I know Hitchens don't sell. I know all of that. I know. He's not that exciting. He don't put butts in seats. All that I understand. This is the type of fight and the type of fighter that Duarte is. Duarte, common opponent with Ryan. You know what I'm saying? He is pretty much a puncher. I don't think there's many wrinkles to his game, but like he will push you to the limits if you don't corral that beast. I think that, you know, you can say what you want about Hitchens, right? But like the Lemos fight, right? When he was his first time under the IBF doing a rehydration, he had his toughest time with Lemos. He never got dropped. He did get buzzed. You know what I'm saying? He did have to go into clinch mode a couple times, but he thugged it out. I believe that Duarte can make this fight like that fight. Duarte is a bigger dude than Lemos. Definitely got more power. I watched that fight with him and Kenny Sims, and I was a little disappointed in Kenny Sims. I used to have him in the running. Like, I haven't forgot about him. But I think that you got to sell out, man. And that's why I like fighters who they're not risk averse. I don't think Richardson Hitchens is risk averse. If you go back and look at him, he always pretty much drop his opponent. He pretty much going to get a drop. Every now and again, he won't. Like, some people slide by without a drop, but he going to get a drop. You know what I'm saying? He will let his hands go. Kambosos, that aggressive style where he boxed, and then when the time was right, you know what I'm saying, he showed aggression. And I think that's going to be, I think you're going to see more of that as he aspires to try to attain some of this limelight, to try to get, you know what I'm saying, some of these bigger paydays. He is $1 million fighter now. So salute to him for that. But I'm excited about that fight. I mean, I know a lot of people come out with the knives and the pitchforks for Richardson Hitchens, saying he talk too much and like everything. Like, he say everything, but then he don't fight nobody. I'm like, they not giving him the fights. You got somebody like Virgil Ortiz that wanted $10 million and then it's down to $7 million. Y'all say that's too much. He say he want 2.5 or 3. People saying that's too much, and more people are shitting on him. At least he got a title. He been in the same division. Like, he did it under the IBF. Like, Virgil and them, they wouldn't even fight Baccarat because of according to Robert Garcia, the 10-pound rehydration. Like, come on, man. Like, he doing it under IBF. So I think that this, because then we're going to see what Duarte got, because it's going to be a 10-pound rehydration. Mark my word, Richardson Hitchens might fuck around and stop that dude. He might fuck around and that shit might not look like the Cambosa shit, but I can see around about the 9th when Duarte is busted up and he's, you know, his gas tank is running low because he's gonna be under that IBF and he's a big dude, brolic, and he don't got too many wrinkles to his game plan. He's pretty much come for a pressure fighter, like the same thing that Boots and them. Like I mean, mark my words, man. Richardson Hitchens might stop this dude and put the world on notice. That's the best thing he can do because I mean, shit. He didn't get Keyshawn, he didn't get Jermaine Ortiz. Common opponent with Ryan. Ryan stopped him after doing that taco shell. He finally came up out of that taco shell and then, you know what I'm saying, wound up hitting him with that. He cracked him with that bull whip. So we know Duarte can be broken. Now, do Hitchens have the power of Ryan? No. But he's way more skilled. He could set up that shot. So that's the 21st as well. Y'all, we know that Duarte is a he's a golden boy. So that's a decent fight. I mean, people will come out and shit on it, but like as boxing purists and people who know the sport and whatever, because I've seen where Frank Martin was campaigning for that fight if he couldn't get Kenny Sims, and now I think they gonna try to they with his people. I heard somebody saying they wanted to get with Kenny Sims after that, but like they wanted Duarte, so Duarte would have been there because if Keyshawn was a fight, oh man, that's a great fight, and this is what we're doing in boxing. So now that Richardson Hitchens is across from this dude, now it's like, oh man, he don't fight nobody. But what he's saying is that his time is limited at 140. His days are numbered at 140, and like I told you, 140 is a cauldron. You know what I'm saying? It's hot at 40, so people don't really want to stay there because shit is getting real at 140. So he's planning on going to 147. You know what I'm saying? He got his eyes on Devin. The last one is, speaking of Devin.
Body, I just wanted to cook on something real quick.
Go ahead.
At Hitchens thing. When you listen to what Hitchens says about that situation, you want me to fight Keyshawn Davis. Keyshawn Davis, who just got his belt, went through what people were calling an impressive stoppage, and he's moving up to my division. Is Keyshawn a big name? Yes, Keyshawn Davis is a big name in boxing right now. So why is it a problem for the champ to ask for more than, as he put it, 1.7 million? Even if his own team is saying it's not for that level of fighter. So the business and everybody's saying that, no, I'm not ducking Keyshawn. I want to fight Keyshawn. So it's not Richardson Hitchens being unreasonable, pricing himself out. He's asking what the market says his value is for that level of fight. He's like, just meet me at the part that just says, okay, this is rational. I'll even come off that somewhere 2.2, 2, anywhere from 2 to 2.5, we good. But more than 1.7, I mean, come on. That's insulting for both me and Keyshawn. So, you know, at the end of the day, I feel him. So, I'm not gonna rock with that type of argument. And he signed for fights. Jermaine Ortiz co-signs that. Yeah, Hitchens was ready. Then that fight fell apart, and then they told me this dude was back on the table, and that dude. But as far as I knew, I had a signed contract with Hitchens. So that it's like people that do want to fight people. You know what I'm saying? So let's just stop these weird ass narratives to try to take down somebody. It's just old and tired now. That shit is so, 2019. Like, come on. So that's about it, buddy. We could go on to the next one.
Yeah, and I did this, you know what I'm saying, kind of like some logic that you be using sometimes when you say, how did we get there? So I'm trying to tell people, how did we get to Duarte? Because this is what people are not going to do. They're just going to shit on the fight. They still going to watch it.
Yeah.
They still going to watch it, right? But they're hoping that he lose, which I said, now you the heel. Like now you got it. Now you got to go out there and perform. Now, you know what I'm saying? They say he be doing all the talking. He don't fight. Well, he got a fight coming up in February. So how do we get there? How do we get to Duarte? We got there because You can't tell me that it's okay for Keyshawn to ask for an absorbent amount of money, almost just as much as the champion, and because it ain't no give on his part, it's the champ's fault. It don't work like that. Because if the roles were reversed and Richardson was challenging Keyshawn, y'all would be like, oh man, who have you fought and who did he do? Blah. Even though Keyshawn got his name beating somebody after he went to war under the IBF when they pushed each other to the limit, him and Limo. So when you ask how did we get there, Jermaine Ortiz was signed. Richardson Hitchens was signed. Keyshawn Davis said he knew. This is why, and I'm not even going to be talking about Keyshawn no more like that. But he said he knew he was fighting Jermaine Ortiz the whole time. Jermaine Ortiz said when he talked to Keyshawn, he's like, "Oh, you must know something now." He's like, "You must know something I don't know." He was like, "Yeah, we fighting." He was like, "Oh yeah," like, "What you know?" He's like, "Yeah, just So Keyshawn knew. So all this, I got the call when I was in the shower. Oh, matter of fact. Never mind, I wasn't in the shower. It was right after this meeting and shit when I just had an event for my nonprofit and all that capping. He knew all the time. So people run around like this. How I know the uneducated fan who just be regurgitating whatever their favorite content creator do. That's very dangerous. That's very dangerous just to rely on what your favorite content creator. That's why I always say two things. Stop me when I'm lying. And I say, don't take my word. Go do your research. But it's out there. So when you ask, how did we get to Duarte? We got there because Shakur put his mans on his undercard and gave him his other man's fight. And it's an interview where Richardson Hitchens said, yeah, man, he's like, man, I was supposed to fight T.O. because they keep asking him. They keep asking him about it. And they say, man, look, I had T.O. Like, T.O. was in the ring with me. I was trying to do a unification. I want him and Devin. He's been consistent with calling Devin for years. Devin's the A side. But nobody ever say that. He said he wanted to win Brian Norman and Devin won. And then Devin tried to make it seem like it was his fault. And shitting on him because of how much money he won. But ain't no offer being sent. Devin saying everything but let's fight. Richardson being consistent, just like Gary Russell. They've been consistent with calling Devin. But everybody want to say, oh man, Richardson Hitchens and Gary Antoine. He need to fight Gary Antoine. He need to stop ducking. Ducking what? So when you say how did we get there, we got there because this fights the people, they be saying all this stuff. They don't reach no agreement. Eddie won't put up the money. He won't even get Boots. He won't even put up money for Boots. And Richardson is like the red-headed stepchild. You know what I'm saying? He ain't even really with Eddie, but that's how we got to Duarte, y'all. The last thing is Harvey Dock will be the ref for Teofimo versus Shakur. That's very interesting because if you got a good pair of eyes, you always know that there's 3 men in the ring. And sometimes a ref can be too involved. We've seen that. Sometimes the ref, they be getting blamed. Like it's a couple refs that gave out an early stoppage and did all that. Like it's like that Rowley versus Barroso. That was the Tony Weeks joint. You know what I'm saying? Like that was ugly. But Harvey Dock, I used to like Harvey Dock. I was like, man, look, dude be clean. He looked like he in shape, clean. You know what I'm saying? Like uniform be fitting. You know, he looked like somebody from around the way. But then we had that Ryan versus Devin fight. And don't take my word for that either, but there are plenty of parodies and skits and cartoons for how Harvey Dock was up there pushing Ryan back and asking Devin, giving Devin a back rub and saying, you all right? You know, like, it was just weird. And so I kind of been looking at Harvey Dock a little interested. I don't know. I hope he don't have no favor in this fight. You know what I'm saying? But that's kind of interesting. What you think about Harvey Dock being named the ref for the T.O. and Shakur fight?
See, that's the fight I was gonna bring up because he robbed, in my opinion, Ryan Garcia from that 7th round stoppage. Devin was about to get stopped when he stepped in. for what reason that you separated these guys and brought them back to the center of the ring. There is no reason for that. I was yelling at my TV. I was ready to throw my cup at it. Like, this MF just didn't do no corrupt out in the open like that, bruh. No. So it's like, who's gonna be the favorite? If Tio gets Shakur in that trouble, are you gonna step in? Or if for some way, somehow, Tio's knocked down and he gets back up, he's perfectly fine. You're gonna look at him, wait 3 seconds, and then throw your hand up for some weird reason and say, no, the fight's over.
I'm not.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just oh man, that's like trying to figure out, what Tio is gonna show up. You just added in a whole new wrinkle. I thought it was the butler that did it in the dining room with the candle. You feel what I'm saying? And you just introduced the French maid had a connection to some government, whatever. And I'm like, how the fuck did we get there? So that's interesting. That's something that right now you've had some time to process it. It's just my entire reaction is authentic. It's organic. I don't really know how to process this just yet. You know what I'm saying? I can't say if it's a good or a bad thing. I can't say based on this and that. It looks like, this is where the fight may be leaning, because this tea leaf right here that just dropped, it speaks volumes. So I can't even go there with it right now. I'm just like, okay, all right.
I will say this, AC. I still like Harvey Dog, man. I still like, you got to salute black excellence, and maybe just like these boxers, man. Maybe he had a bad night at the office, because if my memory serves me correct, he was the ref for the Spence and Bud fight.
Yeah.
He gave Earl a lot of chances, man, and he finally did what needed to be done, man, and because Earl wasn't going. Earl, that's my dog, man. Earl went out. You talking about going out on your shield, man? Earl, you know what I'm saying? You can get in the foxhole with me any day, man. We can go to war, man, because Earl's a soldier. But he, I'm gonna count it as Harvey had a bad night at the office. Maybe he had, an affinity for Dev that we didn't know about. But I don't know if there's any connections with him and Shakur. And I'm definitely not thinking that there's any real connection with him and Tio. I mean, from the outside looking in. So I'm gonna give him a mulligan. I'm gonna let bygones be bygones. I'm gonna go in there with a fresh set of eyes. But the minute, you know what I'm saying, don't give me no reason, man, to put my I Spy glasses on, man. Harvey, I got trust in you. I'm hoping you get back to rare form, you know what I'm saying, and do, a good clean job, you know what I'm saying, you stay out the way, you officiate the fight, you know what I'm saying, you stop the dirty stuff. Like if there is some punching behind the head, which is my least, I hate to see that shit, man. I be getting nervous for all these fighters. They get hit in the back of the head, and it's purposely, and it's, it's constant, because that shit, that's a real unaliver, for real, man. That's a real thing. But I was gonna, outline they got judges. The judges were named too, but I just thought that was interesting when I seen Harvey Doc. I was like, that's interesting. That adds another little wrinkle. Maybe that's something else in the build up to the fight that we can talk about. You know what I'm saying? I'll let you mull it over, and we're gonna talk about it again. You know what I'm saying, before next week anyway. So
yeah, but I'm gonna just say this right now. It could be the type of thing that to whereas we get it very, very fair, ref of the fight. He's like, look, if you guys get in a clinch, I'm really not trying to get involved in that. I'm expecting you guys to fight your way out of it. But when I do call break, just break cleanly. So he may go into this fight like some of the legendary trainers, because you didn't even know he was in the ring until basically Earl Spence was knocked down. Like the way he was moving in the ring and the way he was doing certain things in the ring, you didn't even see him in the camera view. You just saw the two fighters. And when one went down, you just saw him run out. And then he directed and you saw him do the count, and then he disappeared. So if he officiates the fight on that level, expect a great performance. And I think probably that's the reason why they brought him in, because they're going to look at the level of what happened between Bud and Spence, and how you did a fantastic job on that fight. Like that's how you officiate a big level fight like that. The Devin thing, we can give him a mulligan on that. I'll join you on that in that, so we don't take nothing away or start, people think that we're trying to start some weird conspiracy theory. So we'll just give him a mulligan on that one, that was just a bad situation. The way it looked at your when you intervened in that fight. So I'm gonna expect that you officiate this fight at the same level of professionalism and the same I'm in the ring but out of sight type of way that you handled Bud and Errol Spence.
Word. Okay. Well, we on the same sheet of music with that, but that's the housekeeping, man. What you think about the Ryan and Barrios before we get into the meat and potatoes?
I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I haven't even gotten to it yet. I was watching some other stuff about boxing and things like that, and it's like, and in between all of that, I was still going back and forth between the Hitchens interview. So I was kind of like trying to watch 3 different videos at the same time. And when you brought up Ryan, I was like, I hope he just don't bring up the Ryan Barrios interview, because I didn't get a chance to see it yet. But on the next show, I'll definitely give my input on it. But right now, I can't, because I didn't see it.
Okay. Well, it was just it's a press conference, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't too much. I mean, I think I covered everything on it, but like it'll be good for you to see it so you can get put your feelers out on it. But the only one I didn't see, ironically, which like I'm amped up for tomorrow because it's weigh-in. So I wanted to see that. But like Morataya and Andy Cruz, they had a press conference. And they got a face off, and it's looking like Morataya is definitely bigger than Andy, man. He's definitely bigger. But that's the only other thing I seen. We can get into the meat and potatoes, man. The premise of the show. Let me see. Let me get my.
Yeah, but while you get that together, I wanted to just give my 2 cents on when you was talking earlier. Yeah, there you go. So I don't even need to say anything, because that,
go ahead.
For me, that situation is interesting. It took me back, and I just had to cringe, laugh out loud, clap your hands like, no, he just did not say that. When Hitchens was like, no, Shakur is my brother, we like brothers. And I was like, no, not you too.
And another one.
Wow. Nah, Hitchens, okay, bro. Okay, all right. You know what I'm saying? But like I did say earlier, he did try to clean it up to say, I don't know what you and Keyshawn got going, but blah blah blah, we'll fight, yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, you look at overall, you look at overall his admiration for Shakur. Um, it shows a level of something that I think you may be older, but you still look up to this dude, and that's a weird dynamic when older dudes look at younger dudes as big bro. So I don't really know what type of mentality that comes by, but it's a weird dynamic with him because there you do show signs of independence, but there's still that need to be part of that clique. You know what I'm saying, or be mentioned within that circle. So I don't know how that's actually gonna work out. And his take on, and this is my last point, his take on why we won't see a fight between Shakur, most likely won't see a fight between Shakur and Keyshawn. That seemed to be the most logical thing that I've ever heard, even from the two, because they couldn't articulate it. It was a bunch of goofy excuses that everybody's like, the fuck does that mean? You know what I'm saying? But the way he broke it down, it's like, I get it at this point. Yeah, that, you know.
You talking about when he said, because Keyshawn know he can't beat Shakur?
Yeah, and the way the dynamic is like, he said that Keyshawn looks up to Shakur way more than Shakur respects and looks at Keyshawn. That was it right there in a nutshell for me. You feel what I'm saying? Because if we talking about how you maneuver in this guy, you can't, you know, to a certain degree say, that's my little bro. You feel what I'm saying? But you maneuver in him in a way that's not how family treats family. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at the way, again, when you match the way Keyshawn talks about Shakur versus Shakur talks about Keyshawn, you can kind of like see it. He like exposed this little dynamic that says, you know, Shakur is like, yeah, this is my little man. I put him on, you know. He from the Hicks. You know, I'm trying to put him on, bring him into the Brat Pack, so you know he can get some bread, you know, stuff like that. If he crash out, that's all on him. I'm not gonna let him drag me down. But you know, I'm gonna stay trying to look out for him, and that makes sense because let's just say, you know, as we're predicting, Keyshawn does lose against Jermaine Ortiz. The problem is that Shakur has to have a certain mentality to not let Keyshawn's crash out, whether it happens in the locker room, the way in the ring, or walk into the ring or whatever. Whenever that crash out happens, Shakur has to say, I gotta keep some distance for myself so that shit don't fuck up my brain. You know what I'm saying? So, like, even with this look on his face, like, you captured the perfect look for Shakur's face. You feel what I'm saying? He like, yeah, I got these niggas, but I got my eye on you over there, so-called little bro. I got some plans for you, man. Just hang around. I got some plans for you, bro. We're gonna see what you made of, you know? So,
you know, Shakur put me in the pickle, so to speak, man, because but Shakur is one of my guys, man. Like, it get lost in the sauce way more so than Keyshawn. You know what I'm saying? Way more so than Keyshawn. Like, but because I was really a fan of Shakur. Like, I just don't like the move, but I have to respect that. Like, it's something about Shakur. It's like he quiet as kept. Even though out online, when you hear his interviews and the things that he put out there, he don't put out the most masculine of energies. He don't put out that boxing, like, you know, that heat. Like, you know, he don't come out like that. He just come out like, we'll see. Yeah, we gonna see. Like, yeah, I'm telling you, I feel like I'm, you know, he'll do stuff like that, but like, he has to be. He's like the unspoken alpha of these dudes. It's like I don't know what it is. I don't know, but I mean, I guess it's the skill. It's what they see in that gym, as what they see in sparring and what they've encountered. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way when I heard Richardson Hitchens say what he said. I was like, oh man, no man. Like you got to look at this thing like this. At the end of the day, you are in a cutthroat business, and I find it odd how it's a clear line between him and Tank. Like that line has been drawn, and they ain't been the same. But they were the ones that was up under Adrian Broner wing, and they still found their way. You know, Tank got his little, his turmoil that he in now, but like they still found their way to elevate themselves and become champions as well on their own paths. And part of me says that, because I said this a while ago, I said, man, maybe Richardson Hitchens is the smartest one out of them, and people probably like, what? But yeah, I think maybe he is, because part of me knows that he has time. He's that guy. He's probably like if it was G Unit, he'll probably be like, I don't know, I want to say maybe Buck. You know what I'm saying?
What I was gonna say.
Maybe young Buck, the one who was like, okay, he's seen 50 do this thing and blow. They know Lloyd Banks, he got that shit on lock. He's like, you know what I'm saying? He's the punchline king and one of my favorite rappers ever. But he got time to sit back and look and see everybody else blow, and he like, yeah, I'm gonna get mine. But it's like it seems like he's always second or third fiddle. Like he do his own thing. Cause I used to rock Young Buck. Young Buck used to come out with the albums. He had the hits, but then he had some questionable checkered things in his paths that had me looking at him like, what? And every now and again, you know what I'm saying, I try to eat the fish and spit out the bone when it comes to Richardson Hitchens, because a lot of people, it's like high school where if the class bully is just bullying, everybody want to jump in, and like you can see it in the comment section. Any interview, the first comment gonna be, he always talking and not fighting. It's like, last time I checked, he's been pretty active. And he's doing it under the IBF, which I can't stress. But the thing is, he knows how to. He's sitting back and he's watching, just like Shakur. Because you got to think about it. These are two pure boxers. We always say that Richardson Hitchens is the other side. Well, I always say he's the other side of the coin to the Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? Devin go to the body a little bit more. I think Richardson Hitchens got more aggression. He's a little more accurate, a little bit more coordinated. Devin do more body work, and Devin got the machine behind him. That's the difference in opportunities. But they're two different sides of the same coin, but they're a thinker. Shakur is a thinker. Richardson Hitchens is a thinker. And I'm thinking that Richardson Hitchens is sitting back looking and saying, listen, it's not, I ain't gonna say, because I'm not putting no words in them. I'm just a content creator. I'll just be following boxer. I got my set of boxers. Shakur and Richardson happen to be two of the people that I rock with. Like, not so much lately as far as Shakur the moves, but when they yell ding, 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 I'm a fan. Richardson Hitchens, I'm not done with Richardson Hitchens. He hasn't really done anything but talk shit. You know what I'm saying? I admire like what he's been able to accomplish, you know what I'm saying, at this level and having this level of success. But he's probably thinking, keep my friends close, keep my enemies closer. And Shakur he has the torch as far as the Brat Pack. He's the one that no matter what happened, they're gonna get out there and say he's the best thing since sliced bread, he's the new Floyd, all these things. And I don't think Richardson want to be on the other side of that. I think that he knows that, okay, they might not have adopted me in the Brat Pack the way they have, like, because Tim Bradley, the pure boxer guy, all this stuff, he don't ever say nothing positive about Richardson Hitchens. He's still acting like it's a whole Top Rank thing or whatever. And it ain't like, I mean, yeah, Top Rank exists, but like Tim ain't commenting with Top Rank fights and all that. So it's like commentating. But I don't think Richardson wants to be on the other side of that. I think that he knows that Shakur is probably one of the people that you would probably want him as an ally and not an enemy, because the way how he can move these pieces. That's why I always use the chessboard when it comes down to Shakur. And somehow, some way, it's like he's a Jedi. It's like these people don't see it because I'm sitting here looking. I'm like, I'm sitting there looking. I'm saying, hold on, you supposed to be my man. Like, so you wouldn't fight him. We have this thing where we sitting in the car and we saying, yeah, we ain't gonna fight. But I'm saying, look, man, if that money, if they put that bread down, I'm coming for your head. He's saying, yeah, and I'm gonna fuck you up. So you got that with me, but you take my opponent in TO, you give your little man's my other opponent, and now I'm stuck with Duarte, but we are BFFs. Like, I don't even understand how that worked. That's like growth. But he made light of it. He said, yeah, Shakur just basically intercepted my shit. He like, I thought I was getting TO. We got the same manager. He was in the ring. He came to the fight. I stopped Cambosos, the only guy that put the blemish on TO record, and now he got my fight. But he take it with a grain of salt, and I think that he's playing chess as well. And it's funny how Shakur got in the ring with Devin. Devin got out the ring. It was nothing. We had the whole 25% deal, and they ain't been that close, even though Shakur came to his aid, said, I ain't gonna kick a man when he down. I reached out to him, see if he was all right after the Ryan shit, because he cheated, and blah, blah, blah. And I know we had our things, but we cool, and they patched it up. And so they patched it up. And so Richardson is gunning for Dev, right? But T.O. has the history with Keyshawn. Like, they had the whole thing where they beat up his father, and some shit went left in sparring. They got the whole on stage thing where, with T.O., I think this was before the Jermaine Ortiz fight. I think that might have been before the Jermaine Ortiz fight when they was on stage. They had the back and forth. So Shakur on Keyshawn's hiatus, he gets T.O. And now Jermaine Ortiz, who had a signed contract with Shakur's name on that 35, it aged out and, nothing was happening. So he said he had to take that T.O. fight. So that's off the table. But that was an op that was Shakur's work. Devin was an op that was Shakur's work. But yet you got Hitchens gunning for Devin, Keyshawn wanting to dispatch Jermaine to get to Devin. And I'm like, what is going on here? Like, it's weird. And it's like this friends. And then with the Oshaki stuff, he's trying to put Ray Ford on Oshaki. But they used to be cool. And it ain't no haps on that. That's what I'd be really, that's why I say he might be a Jedi mind. Is this making sense, AZ?
Oh yeah, because it's the thing we trying to figure out. Like, when you look at a person that's maneuvering so many fighters, and so many fighters want to basically put themselves in that category or link themselves to your name that, yeah, that's my brother, that's my homeboy. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, if you, like, he's telling these dudes, like, yo, you seen where I came from. Once Bud put me on to the turf, you see where I'm at now. So if you rock with me, you listen to what I'm telling you, I'll get you there. And it's like he talking promotional talk to these dudes, and they looking at Shakur like, yeah, I'm signed to this guy as my promotional company, but my promoter is Shakur Stevenson. So I'm just looking at him like, as a fighter, you and I look at each other, and you say you the one, I say I'm the one. I'm always gonna want to fight you. I can't. We could be friends, but I'm always gonna want to fight you. You can call me up, be like, "Yo, what you doing today?" Nah, I'm chilling, man. Yo, you want to watch this fight together? Sure. You know what I'm saying? Come through. I'll go down to my theater room and we'll put it on the big screen. Okay, cool. You do that. Y'all watch the fight, but then that contract and that phone call come across. Yeah, we gonna fight. That's not the energy that these dudes is displaying. Because even with Hitchens, it was a good 15 minutes before you cleared that up. Like, you went on this soliloquy of how Shakur helped your career, how he did this for you, how he did that for you. And okay, that's fine, but you also said that Tank was that dude for you. You know what I'm saying? So if Tank is that dude for you, that's kind of the guy me personally, I'd be rocking with, and be trying to, yeah, I'm cool with that dude, because that's gonna move a little bit different than the way you move. So I'm just like, bro, I guess you get them when they, like pimps, you get them when they young. You feel what I'm saying? Yo, this dude is straight pimping on these hoes.
What's up, Melazar? What's up, Pop?
What's good?
What good? What good?
What's happening, man?
I'll be real with you. I'm just catching on. I just finished the interview joint. AC, so if you're talking about the Shakur era, I ain't even with it. I don't like it. Earlier I was on the panel. I was going against 4-5 motherfuckers at the same damn time, talking about somebody explain to me how Tia gonna beat Shakur. How many damn times you want me to fucking explain it to you? How many times? How many times? Like, y'all got, okay. People will say they got Shakur, right? This is so funny to me, I swear to God. He's this defensive wizard. He's this all-time great, right? So I'm like, is he James Toney like? Oh, you can't compare it that way. Well, hold on, wait. What you mean? He did all-time defensive great. You defensive great. Distance, slipping punches, all that footwork, all that, yeah, all you can do all of that. It's what you do more. So what I'm asking is that T.O.'s an unpredictable fighter. He's explosive, he's twitchy, he's fast, he's athletic. I don't think this is just gonna be some regular fight, and this is by far 1, 2, 3 in level jumps for Shakur. This ain't no fucking Zepeda. This ain't no damn Valdez.
No. This
ain't no no knock on Padley, but listen.
Yeah.
Do
they notice? We know.
I had this conversation, right? And this is how I know, like, it's more about you really don't like T.O. more than the accomplishment, because you're gonna tell me that Josh Taylor, who's been a professional fighter, I mean, all his life, I don't know if he know what a real job looked like. I don't know. I think he's been that guy all his life, right? He's been paid to punch people all his life. Being on a 16-month layoff. And Josh Padley getting it, like, come on, man. The dude got called. He got called after work on Tuesday. Got his flight in there and everything stuff and packed Wednesday, was gone Wednesday night, there Thursday. Got to punch some stuff and do interviews Friday. Workout look like, come on, man, like, stop. This dude had no time. And you compare Shakur stopping him, you give Shakur more credit for stopping him than you give T.O. more credit than beating Josh Taylor. You just don't like T.O. Like, just be real.
Yeah, you cooking. Hey, but look, let me ask you this. Do you see how they was trying? They are like overinflating this Zepeda win. I'm like, who the fuck is Zepeda? Like, Trevor Farmer arguably beat him the first one. If he get that, it will be no second one. And then because this is the same interview. This is the this is the one with what you call them, Akin Barak. Mm-hmm. They said that the De Los Santos fight was not even close, and then they credited because Shakur had a hurt hand. I'm like,
yeah, I know
that fight was close, bro. Like, and then there's Zepeda. I'm like, when did Zepeda become this monster?
I had this same panel different person, talking about some not gonna let you down plays the Pater. I was like, what?
You know, like Tio's opponents maybe don't be all of them top the last three and stuff, but they're way better than the opponents that Shakur fought the last three. If you put it like that, like if you put the level of competition from last three to last three, Tio even maybe for us it's not like the tall level notch, but Sandor Martin was a good boxer.
How long though? But like, how long ago was Sandor Martin? They keep holding it against Tio. How long ago was Sandor Martin? I was at the fight. It's a long time for me.
Yeah, but yeah, so, Tio been 18 months without defending this title, and before that was another freaking 18 months. Remember, like he have defend twice the title every 18 months. So that's why it's so the gap is so wide open. That's another thing. Both of those fighters, how you say it, they own to the people. Like they haven't performed at the level that they've been sold. You know, like, but Tio, it's not gonna. I don't see Shakur doing a how you call this Crawford over Canelo. I don't see that.
I don't see that either, bro.
I don't see that.
I say this right. People be like, Tio went life and death with Steve Claggett, but Keyshawn went life and death with the guy that Steve Claggett fought.
And
so it's like they got it like you're downplaying Steve Claggett. Like I get his name and everything like that, but when you go look at the fight that he had before that, like them dudes threw the most punches like damn near you ever seen before in a fight. So he just not going down, and Tio made a show of it. That's maybe his downfall, making a show of it. But when it comes to Shakur, I'm not about to play your game either, Shakur. That's what I think like people is missing with Tio. Like, I'm not about to play your game either. Okay, you won't play my game, I'm not playing your game. So when we strip that down, what do we got?
You see that fun fact right there, Pop, with what you cooking on? Look, Sandor Martin is 40-2. Let that sink in. He's 40-2. And that fight was in December of 2022.
They still holding it like, see, that's what I'm saying, right? Tio has seen a Sandor Martin. Tio has seen a Jermaine Ortiz, a fighter that's going to be that's going to be, you know, trying to stay away.
Exactly.
Has Shakur ever seen a Teofimo Lopez?
You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Because you know what's funny is this. Mm-hmm. They take away, because right now people will probably try to say he's daring to be great. Not the way that everybody's talking. They acting like he's not, like,
and
you
it's
see
a
what
poor
I'm saying?
division. You
No,
know, every time you go another big division up, that takes stamina and speed. You know, because now you're not fighting in a lower class that you was fighting and lighter and faster. Now you got more weight. So how you gonna fight like 10 pounds? Because okay, if you was in 135,
I'm so glad you showed that picture, bro, because now all of a sudden
that's a lot of weight.
Now all of a
He
sudden,
look awesome. I'm
even
not
if it's AI or not, whatever. But now all of a sudden he's not that guy.
Still, no, Pop. That is a still of Shakur walking towards the camera. That actually came from Ring Magazine or official jumper of when he was in the gym. Summer. It's like an 8 or 13 minute clip, and inside the gym you see Shakur. He finishes doing something, and you see him looking down, but he's taking a step towards something, and the camera is in front of him at that slight down angle, and it just captures all of that. That's a real picture. That's what that dude looked like. And if you see him in the blue tight sweater, like this blue tight athletic shirt, it almost looks worse because when he turns his back, you gotta see these muscles up top, how they just protrude out when he turns around. Because he's so hunchback right now. Like this dude.
Can we stop with this Shakur saying I'm not a big dude shit?
He said this 2 years ago, Pop. He said he been saying for 2 years now. Cause we in 2026. He been saying for 2 years, I'm bigger than T.O.
But you want to wait. You want to weight clause on Conor Ben and Kevin Haynes.
Yeah.
Like, and then when people be like, when did he say that? I'm like, did you miss that interview when he was running his mouth?
He said it on 3 different interviews. You can't be the Shakurian that you claim you are or the way you talk you are. And then when we talk about these videos, when he says these things, oh, I ain't never seen that. I don't remember seeing that. I don't never remember him saying that.
How from all the sudden we got these 4, 5 division champions and stuff like that when that is way difficult to do. And then they are really tall in the lower class, you know, super big. And when they go to the 4th division, now they look like equal size to everybody else.
So to bring it full circle, is what we looking at, just that last picture, the body transformation of Shakur Stevenson. Is this one of the things? Because look at him down at the bottom, and then look him at the top. His facial features aren't even the same. You feel what I'm saying? So when you look at that type of transformation, when these young fighters go in the gym and they see that professional machine behind them, they see all of these legends come through to support him in the camp. Is that like the real thing that makes these young fighters just like fall in line for Shakur? That if they look at their phone or they get that response from Shakur, it's like, yo, he just shouted me out in the tweet or on my feed. And then you get that phone call from him and you just like, you know what I'm saying? Is that what these young fighters see?
Well,
because
I see this, the world, like I say, I'll be joking, but the world just got Shakur as this, you know, he's this greatest guy, you know what I'm saying? And everybody else just be running with it. So it's like, you might as well get on the bandwagon with it, but I ain't going with the wagon. I ain't going with the trend. Shakur has Hall of Fame talent. He has great talent, but I got to see it on display against somebody else who's on that level before I just be like, you that guy. I just can't be like, you that guy off the guys that you beat when the guys that you beat can't beat the guys that T.O. beat.
Yeah, my thing is this. This is what it is, man. And something that was very telling in this interview. The reason why I kind of did this is because they revisited a conversation that Richardson Hitchens had when he basically said he said something like they was judging the performance and Richardson Hitchens said, yeah, I could see why Tank could be like, yeah, I could get him after seeing that performance. Shakur got mad at him and they was beefing for a second. And he said, well, Richardson Hitchens was like, man, I shouldn't have said that out in public. And that's something I should have just kept to myself. I should have said, yeah, that's my brother, man. He gonna move on and do this and this and that, and then talk to him in private. But see, that's where we're at right now. And that's why I was kind of glad he said that, because I'll be saying this. It's like you can't go anywhere where you can just be honest about what it is that we see. We do it with everybody else. Like if somebody have a bad, I just had to do it with Sabril. I had to do it when Tank fought Lamont. I had to come out and be like, look, man, like, no, that's not what was, and just lay it all out. Everything I saw, just what my eyes see, not putting nothing extra on it. But we in the era now to where all you can, and I used to joke about that. Like, you've been around when I've been saying, well, when it come down to boots, it's okay when we saying you the next Roy Jones and we saying, damn, you will knock the stuffers out of this dude and that dude, but they're tailor-made. We want to see you do Roy Jones type things. It's okay when we saying you the closest thing that we see to Floyd, but Floyd was more offensive, you more defensive. But then when we criticize you and say, oh man, well you should have stopped Artem. Well, Frank dropped Artem and you said he hit hard. But they don't want to hear none of that. They just want to hear praise. And I'm like, this is that's why I call it the soft and sassy era.
Yeah, because I got because Shakur is just this defensive specialist, right? So I threw out a defensive specialist, and when I threw his name out, so many excuses pop out. And he could punch and knock people out, and if y'all being like I hear people saying that Shakur gonna stop T.O., which is just crazy to me. So all right, cool. So here's an analogy. Everybody thought that James Toney was gonna beat Roy Jones Jr. Just did. Because he was the prototypical type fighter. Right? What could Roy do that could rattle James that it wasn't going to work? He's unpredictable. He's twitchy. He's fast. He's explosive. He has ring IQ too. And he's a counter puncher as well. So Shakur, the minute you want to step forward, he got something for your ass. I guess everybody forgot that. Just saying.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing how they jacked up Zepeda. I'm like, man, like that's like man, in football when you got the weakest schedule, and you done ran through your division. You got a butter ass record. You might be 16-2. You going into the playoffs and you get smacked in the mouth in the first round because they playing that smash mouth, and this is not, you ain't played this level of competition the whole season. I'm not saying that's gonna happen because I kind of got Shakur like doing what Shakur do. He's not gonna fool me. We've been through this. We kind of, it was like around the same time we both kind of said, I'm tired of all this goddamn yip yapping. I want to see it. Like I'm about to stop this dude. I'm about to knock this dude. You ain't gonna get me with this shit.
Yeah. Surprise me. Listen, I used to talk to so many. And it's like not being racial enough. I used to talk to so many Mexicans, and they used to be like, "Man, we know Zepeda ain't shit. You know, Oscar got him in witness protection. Shakur, why are you crying for him?" Now, this is where this is why I look at things different. They just say the same thing you say, Body. If you really wanted a tank fight, why'd you go to the zone match room and not PBC? That's what they were saying.
You look, you want me to fast forward you to a whole nother scenario that's the same damn thing? You know, want me to give you a whole nother scenario?
Go ahead.
Boots chasing after Virgil.
I'm not going with the Turk.
No, I'm saying no. The fact that he said that he wanted Zepeda for 3 years. We know Virgil said it was gonna take him 48 months or whatever. We knew that was duck leg, that was quack. Like, come on, man. It'll take 48 months to do shit but a bid.
Word.
So you want this guy, and I like Boots, but I gotta be truthful. You want this dude that's tailor-made for you. If you look at Shakur, he wanted Zepeda because he's tailor-made for you. We done with the tailor-made suits. We want to see what you do with this fabric. Like, what you gonna do with this? How you gonna rock this? How your fashion gonna be if you just gotta go in the closet and just grab some shit and put it together and, you know what I'm saying, make it look good. Like, not all that tailor-made. It's easy when it's tailor-made. Like, they used to cook Tank. Oh, it's gonna be another flat-footed Mexican. But it's like Tank's variety of opponents is like vast. You know what I'm saying? It's like with Shakur, now that we know that he's been bigger than T.O. all this time, but T.O. moved up. He fought Sando Martin, 2 years ago? He fought Pedro Campa in 2022. He moved up in August of 2022. So we coming up on 3.5, 4 years. He was there, but you've been bigger than this man. You said you was bigger than this man 2 years ago. But that's a new scenario because I keep saying, listen, we talked about this on What the Fuck on this segment right here. We did a segment called What the Fuck is a Duck? And I went over all of the different ducks. And one of them is moving promotional companies. You don't go sign with this promotional company saying that you want this fighter over there. It's like you went over the Matchroom, and because y'all on the zone, you went over the Matchroom and you're declaring that you want Virgil. Shakur did the same thing. That's why I said, man, we got to be careful with Oscar because Oscar will have his dude sitting on a pot. They got to damn near punch him in the ribs just for him to get a fight because we've seen it. Virgil Ortiz, he been on the pot. For the longest time, what's big boy? Zerto, he was on the pot. Jaime Munguia, he was on the pot. Like all these guys,
Blair Cobb, all them dudes been on the pot for real.
They was protecting him because remember they wouldn't let Speedy Rashidi play in no games. He finally got Alexis Roach. It was a late, even the maneuver they just did with Charles Conwell. So we ain't gonna talk about the black fighters. I ain't even getting on that. I'm talking about these guys who want these guys on these other promotional companies, and y'all be chasing them. But the fights that we want, you have no desire to make them. That's what I'm talking about. So for me, I mean, I applaud Shakur for finally going up like to 40, you know what I'm saying, and actually putting this down. But like, dare I say, this is a fight. This is almost like, well, it's not like that, but like we've seen plenty of fights to where we accepted the fight and it's a good fight, but we didn't ask for this. Did we ask for this fight?
No, we don't.
No.
Well, kind of, because we've been asking best and best, and you know what? They have to perform. Okay, they're selling themselves like these great boxing and all these BS, but they've been fighting against who? So with the 31st, we're gonna see at least two of the top names fighting. And
yeah, we like so. Okay, so
but
again,
I expect the best. I don't expect like they bore me to death. If you do that, you're done. I'm not gonna buy your shit no more.
But hear me out, Melazar. This is what I'm saying. I love the fight. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be a barometer for where both of these guys are at in their career. I love the fight, but it's a difference between me loving this fight and this is being a fight that we asked for. We've been asking for Tank versus Shakur. You know what I'm saying? That's the fight we've been asking for.
Why not? I see why not. One, Shakur was with Top Rank and whatever. Two, Shakur doesn't feed up, don't sell shit, right? So everything is gonna be in the back of Tank Davis, and Tank Davis is like, why I gonna give you my spotlight, share it with you when the only thing you have been doing is trashing me and saying my opponents are not good and throwing all this dirt to my events so I don't sell it. And now you want my spotlight and you want to fight me and run all night to then say you stole you.
But Malazar,
why not?
Here's something. Here's some interesting tidbits. I went down the rabbit hole and I tried to find every video that I remember seeing Bob Arum talking about Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis. Bob Arum wanted to make that fight. If Shakur would have re-signed with him, he would have made that fight because Loma was sketchy. Teofimo was all over the place. Shakur was the third man in line, according to Bob Arum. He said, I want to make a fight with Shakur Stevenson, Lomachenko, and Teofimo.
Now?
Let me just say, and Teofimo Lopez to fight Gervonta Tank Davis. He said, I wanted to do that. You know what I'm saying? He said, but basically, those dudes went every place else to once you hear Bob say
and the only one
then
who
you ask this question.
The only one who stayed under Sayas.
When you watch all of that information, then you're left to ask the question, why did Tio go to 140? Why did Shakur go the direction he went? And why did Loma do what he did? At the end of the day, Bob was willing to make it. He said, I'll make these fights. He told Shakur. He told Loma. He told Tio. He told all three of them.
But
they all knew.
Saw the chip was sinking. And what happened when the chip is sinking? The rats are the first one to go away.
But
so
think
that's
about
what
it.
happened.
The ship was still afloat.
The only one who
pulled
stayed
into a
was
dock at that
Saya.
point. It wasn't sinking. It was at a dock. This was still the high point. Shakur knew at that point he could have gotten the Morataya. He would have got. Hold on, let me say this.
PM after Shakur left the company.
He would have got. No. We're talking Malazar. We're talking before he left. This was all said before he left, when he was still signed, before he even had his last fight. When he had his last fight, the last time Bob was talking about him, he was like, listen, I hope he re-signs with us. Because if he re-signs with us, we can guarantee him the fights that he wants. We got a 6-fight deal.
And it's a game for life with them. I know their contracts. I know Bob Arum contracts. That's what I'm saying. Bob Arum stay in the old school mentality, and no boxer wanna sign in with him. Not even ESPN, nobody, because he's staying in old mentality. And Tank, now, why are I going to share my spotlight with you?
Let me say something real quick. Let me just outline just a little. Just give me 2 minutes. 2 minutes, real quick. 2 minutes. Listen. The reason why Top Rank is where they are is because there is a such thing as a Top Rank diet. It comes a point in time where you got to shit or get off the pot. This is the same thing that they were saying over there with TMT, with Tank over there. It was a time when you got to shit or get off the pot, Tank. That was there. The same thing we saying with Oscar De La Hoya. Yeah, man, you gotta let these guys shit or get off the pot. Like Ryan had to basically say, nah, fuck it, Oscar. No, I'm fighting Tank. Like, no, I'm doing it. Like, all these motherfuckers had to break away. The same thing applies to Top Rank. Now, Top Rank got in a position. Nobody ain't gonna want to hear this. They got in the position that they in because these guys didn't want to make the fights that they needed to make. And listen, they tried to do it with Shakur. Think about it. They had this push with Shakur. And they gave him when that De Los Santos thing came up, when they had that race car, the F1, whatever, they put this big spotlight on him and they did this, and what happened? He stunk up the joint. When it came down to T.O., because Bob wanted to make, because remember, at one point in time, one of the biggest fights to be made was Tank versus T.O. Bob Arum, the earliest conversation I've ever heard Bob Arum say, whenever he said something about pay-per-view, it wasn't Loma, it wasn't Shakur, it was T.O. and Tank. And he said, we can make that fight. But guess what happened? T.O., feeling like he wasn't getting paid right, he went into that Cambosis thing, and he went, he did something outside of the norm. He had to get spanked. Now he got his title, and then Bob and them had to spank him. And that's when they got T.O. back in line. That's when he came back and was like, yeah, I just got to understand the business and this and this and that. These guys chose to do things in their career. So at a point in time, because I remember being over there on Pop Channel, and we had a whole live talking about, is it time? Just like when Floyd was sitting there and he was looking at the decision as to whether or not he was going to go, he was going to go solo, on some Cisco shit. And then, when he took off, it was time for him to take off. We was asking, was it time for Shakur to take off, or do he need to stay because of the style he got? And then, he need to get some big fights to do it. He chose to leave. And when he chose to leave, he went over there to Matchroom. It was the quickest free agency signing ever. One day he was with Top Rank, and we knew that was going to be his last fight. He got done, and next thing you know, he was touring around with Eddie. And he went over there and he said, listen, don't even try to make a Tank fight. So I'm like, hold on, how do you want Undisputed when 2 of the belts on Top Rank, the other one on PBC, and you go sign with Matchroom? So and then Loma, he lost to Devin. He got his heart broken. He lost to Devin. He didn't get the decision against Devin. Very close fight. After that, he went and took some time off and, did this and this and that. And when it came down to Tank, he didn't want it. And then he retired. So these guys, where they be saying, oh, Tank don't want to do this, all 3 of the belts was over there on Top Rank. 1 belt was with Tank. But he took all the blame. And these guys could have forced the issue, because if y'all talk and I say, hey, listen, we can do this, but this is what it's going to be. This is what we're looking at. You're going to get this, or we're going to get this. It's going to be pay-per-view. So, of course, back end isn't, how they do back end or whatever. He chose not to take it. He said, oh, we're going to spin the block. So, these fighters themselves got to take some ownership to where it's like, and Top Rank got to take some ownership to where they didn't force the deal. That's why they lost, because if they would have put on one of them pay-per-views and it had success, and they would have started bridging that gap the way they're doing now with Oshaki and Fulton, and now with now in the fights that we got now with the fight we talked about earlier on the 21st of February. Ryan and Barrios. So now they're trying to marry these promotional companies. But everybody was doing that in-house thing, and they wasn't trying to give their fighters up. So that's how Top Rank got there, to be honest, like, because the fighters that was on that label was making business moves. Look at what Berlanga did. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's why Top Rank got to where they was at, in my opinion. Like, that's how we got there. Like, so we got to go back into history and redrudge that up. Like, Shakur, he was saying a lot of stuff, but like a lot of the moves, man, like, I don't know how you could be chasing Moritalia for 3 years, but you chasing, you talking to Frank Martin. I mean, you talking to Lamont Roach. You like the same thing he doing now. Like, I want Conor Ben. It's like, man, come on, man. These timelines don't be adding up for who you was chasing, who you said you wanted, and what we were asking for. I go back, like, all that stuff you said about Tank and all that. Like, yeah, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? If somebody was going to try to defend Tank in that way, all right, I hear that. But still, the boxing fans was demanding that fight. Like, that's why I say the difference between getting a fight that we like or that we appreciate versus something that we asked for.
Yeah, because
Like,
they're not building nothing. They're just throwing names and, okay, this name sell and this name sell, and we put all these names and we get our profit and whatever. But they're not building like boxing and creating some interest in following these guys. They just want a quick cash from us. You know, that's what I'm always keeping my eye on, because these people, they don't care. They're not building the American boxing, or they're just making quick cash, putting some names with another name and sell it. You see what they did with Conor Ben and the other one, that like just throw, because they're father names. So let's throw it together. They don't belong even in the same weight class, but fuck it. Yeah.
But this is why we're looking at the potential of the Shakur era, and everything that you just mentioned that's wrong with it is about to become the norm. So at the end of the day, you know, this is just a heads up. This is, you know, this is the warning signal. This is the last cry. This is, you know, the closing bell. So at the end of the day, you know, we as the fans may have to look at a future that's, at least in these lighter weight divisions, it's going to be a lot of maneuvering all around one guy that's not like the guy.
If they destroy this, they can build up Sufa, because he's the same guy, right, controlling both ones. But he's telling you, you see, your normal boxing that you're used to, your full belts, that stuff is nothing. Look what a mess up it is. I got Sufa over here that is more controlling, is better. You can follow your boxing and whatever, and that way he can sell you Sufa and destroy the four belt at the same time. I know. I've been watching them from I've been studying what they're doing. I'm like,
they came in, overinflated the market.
Yeah.
Basically, Shark Tank the market, that you sign a deal with them and they tell you, you know what, we want 10,000 units. You like, yo, I don't even have a warehouse or a facility that can produce that kind of numbers in a month. Well, just bring it over to mine, and we'll just change a little bit of the contract. And so we're talking about a licensing deal. Now you effectively became an employee of your own company.
Yeah.
So when it comes down to shit like that, that's basically what they did to boxing, because they knew if we overinflate, overpay, now everybody has a bloated sense of what their value is, and now these fights are just not going to be made. We're just going to offer them staying busy. Well, you know, you fight 6 times a year, you'll still get the money you want. You fight 4 times a year, you're still getting these big paydays for fighting 1 time a year, but you're actually more busy and people will know your name. So they're offering them something like that to build their career. It's like you selling fat 20 bags and everybody got skimpy dime bags. That's how you came in the hood. That's how you came in the game. And everybody used to your joint. Now you just sell a regular size dime bag. And
And by overinflating the market, when the small promoters want to do like real promotion and stuff, the other boxers are like, nah, but these people are offering this amount of money if I travel or I do this and that. And it's like now the regular boxers don't want
We
to
just
make
seen a
money.
perfect example of what you just outlined, Malazar.
Like they don't want to take the chances in making money pay-per-view if I'm get guaranteed money over here and I even
But
have to
that's-
sell out the tickets or the
Exactly.
pay-per-view.
So to talk about what you just said, we're talking about the potential of a $4.5 million fight, $4.5 million, and that would have been the fight between Richard Hitchens and Keyshawn Davis. $4.55 million fight, a championship fight. Why couldn't that fight be made? What sort of issues of the business of boxing says that fight couldn't be made? All you have to do is bump up your hat because he's the champion. He's fighting a big name guy that's moving up, that's coming off some drama. So the fight is going to sell because people want to see what this guy looks like coming back, facing a champion. The payback was built in. The payback was built in, but now that just showed us that the promotional companies went right back to the same shit that stopped the big fight from happening in the first place. That's why the Turk stepped in. Now, as soon as the Turk gone, for just a $5 million fight, you guys just backed out of that fight. Like, no, we can't put that together. They talking about too much money.
Yeah,
The
like
fuck?
you told me, somebody told me that Devin Haney got a $33 million contract with Turkey for 3 fights, like 11 million per fight. I'm like, what? How come? But Bob Arum used to do a 3 fight deal for $4-5 million. So how you gonna pay $11 million and don't say don't sell the pay-per-views, don't sell a lot of tickets? Where that profit is coming from? No, so you overinflate the markets, and now nobody else.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Here's my thing. The problem with the Bob Arums, and I don't know if his old mind and old thought can actually wrap his head around the way the new age does things. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, we've gotten rid of cable in my house, and the two adults in my house are plus 50, but we don't even have cable anymore. We just do streaming. Everything is streaming, so we understand that. We looked at what cable was offering versus the price, and now you can watch only a certain level, but the good stuff with the profanity and the drama and the real good movies and the real hardcore series and stuff like that, that's on the app part. The Paramount Plus, the Disney Plus, the Diz Plus, the Dat Plus. You feel what I'm saying? So we said, you know what? Let's just plus up. Let's plus up and do this because this ain't cutting it no more. And that's what we do, and it's actually cheaper. Way cheaper. So the point is, you got now more eyes on the product. You feel what I'm saying? And if you just say, we're not doing a pay-per-view thing no more. You know what? We just want to get involved on a platform that's willing to put championship fights, and we'll let the sponsors actually pay for everything.
Yeah, and you can make pay-per-view
All we have
too.
to guarantee the views.
Because remember how HBO did it? Like they make boxing after that, and then they make main event HBO. But then they got the pay-per-views too when the fighter was too big. Now you can sell pay-per-views.
Exactly. So you can still go back to that model, but it has to be the mega.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But even for me, even this Shakur versus Teofimo Lopez fight, that's a free TV fight. Because Muhammad Ali versus Leon Spinks, that fight was free, and that fight did that fight was free.
Yeah.
On CBS, and that fight did 2 billion views.
Yeah, but you get
2
money for the
billion views
views and the
globally.
sponsors, and TV was big back then, but now,
TV
free,
streaming
no.
streaming is just as big as TV.
Oh yes,
Streaming, everybody has a basic joint.
but
Everybody
that
has
phone is
either.
not that place because
Let me
that
let me
phone
let me land the
isn't
plane
that
though.
budget.
Let me land the plane. Everybody has basically Hulu. We all started with Hulu. I mean not Hulu. Netflix. Netflix was first the gaming app. So when you wanted to just do the new games without paying for them, you did the service of of Netflix when it was the gaming thing. Then they turned into Netflix, and then you could do the thing with the movies, the DVDs. Then they started to do streaming. So their platform is set. You know what I'm saying? Everybody orders from Amazon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If everybody shares in the promotions and revenues and take their portion of what it is in the streaming world, you put it between Amazon and what's the name? Man, you're gonna do at least 30 million.
Yeah, but it's finding a platform that want to work with these promoters, you know. And right now, I think they don't want to build up boxing. They want to destroy the full belts, and then they want to build their Sufa. So that's why they're not investing in boxing. They're just throwing these fights together to, you know, when you want to implode the house, you just throw shit over there and you don't care and just light it up. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing. So small promoters like Orengo is trying to build it back on, right? So you know, get a deal from Netflix, get a deal from Hulu, from Paramount. It's not that easy, and UFC is there, and it's a bunch of shit.
Oh, you're not gonna do Paramount because Paramount just left boxing alone with Showtime. They the parent company. So at the end of the day,
somebody bought
Netflix,
Paramount. They was doing, somebody was buying Paramount, or Paramount was buying somebody.
Paramount has never been for sale. They've
been doing that deal. I've been watching it.
Maybe they're gonna merge and buy somebody else.
Yeah, it's gonna be a merge.
Yeah, Paramount is who they are. They're one of the biggest in this country.
I know.
Yeah, what I'm saying is this: Netflix has already shown viability because in a spectacle card, Netflix did 110 million globally. The best pay-per-view is 4.5 million views. That's Floyd Mayweather versus Manny Pacquiao. So when you look at those numbers, it tells you right off the bat. It's a better. What else that thing did was it brought in 15 million new subscribers.
Yeah.
When you just look at the price of those subscriptions and you look at it per year, these dudes is getting damn near billions of dollars.
But
just for subscriptions.
Who got the Netflix deal? Wasn't nobody big, was MVP. You know? Like was Jake Paul. Wasn't one of these big promoters.
Because they didn't know. They have no clue of it. They were still stuck on the pay-per-view. ESPN Plus is an app, but you still charge us pay-per-view money for these fights. You just fucked all of that up.
Yeah, because they need to remember sometimes when these big fights come on, they need to make their profit in one another way. And all the sports charge money. Like if you want to watch all these football channel and stuff, you need to pay extra. If you want to watch baseball, you need to pay too. Every sport, basketball is the same shit. So sometimes, yes, you're gonna have some fights with the subscription, but then you're gonna have some fights that you have to pay the pay-per-view extra for it because they're way too bigger.
When you look at,
let me ask you a question real quick. But what is the Super Bowl?
That's where I was gonna go.
But the Super Bowl, they have sold that, and they get so much sponsorship from all these, you know, the
you just said it, all those sponsorships. It doesn't matter where
the commercials, you know, they get so much money for the commercials where they sell the Super Bowl to all these countries. So it's different there in a part because now everybody want to watch it and it's a big thing. But WWE make a good deal with when they make their app first, right, to sell their own pay-per-views, and they call it like premium live event. But then they sold those premium live event, some part to Netflix, other ones to Peacock, other ones they're gonna be on ESPN. So instead of selling the pay-per-views that they used to sell, like those premium live event now being streaming, right? And they keep getting their profit.
I'm gonna say this to you, Malazar, and this is what I knew from the business insider part of it. When ProBox came out, there was a small portion of time where ProBox was willing to sell their platform to Top Rank Boxing, because Top Rank Boxing would have brought the platform to full exposure, looking at all the people. When you look at the numbers of Top Rank's views, you feel what I'm saying? Now, some of those, their largest views come from people like Terrence Crawford and Tyson Fury in this modern era of boxing. You feel what I'm saying? Which made the company viable for certain parts of viewership. So they had that ability. Bob Arum came out and made the statement that he would not be investing in any platforms. That's where he made his crucial business mistake. So when you look at Top Rank and ask your question, how did Top Rank get where they're at? It's because Bob Arum never ever realized the power of streaming. Pay-per-view is not a business model. Hold on, pay-per-view is not a business model you can scale and then take it to Wall Street and have traders, investors, and have it traded as a commodity. But guess what other thing actually is? Because there's a war going on with it, and that's streaming. And that streaming war is Apple TV, Netflix, Paramount, Disney, and Amazon. Those are the big four that are in wars right now. So when you look at some of the things Amazon did, then when you look at some of the things Netflix did by picking up the wrestling and stuff like that, the Raw. Now you got the profanity. You know, you seen the Rock's opening thing. He beating people up, cursing at him. You sit the fuck down and all of this other stuff. You hearing a raw Dwayne Johnson. Then when you look at what Amazon did with picking up certain playoff games and Super Bowls and stuff like that. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Those subscriptions have tenfold that business move has tenfold residuals for the company, because now you recognize CBS, ABC, you know, the big alphabet.
But when you have all these sport guys, you know, the athletes like Top Rank used to have that have a big stable. Yes, you can sign up with this company, but when you're a small promotion company that only have 5-6 guys, other guy have 4 or 5, so you cannot do that. So if they imploded and make a Sufa boxing, now they can sell a business model to these companies, right? Because now you have a bunch of boxers, a bunch of working for you. Like right now, that is so many promoters. Everybody is with different promotions, a small promotion, big promotion. So you cannot sell like one company. So that's why they want to implode it. So they can build the Sufa, and then the Sufa sell it in Netflix, sell it in streaming yards and stuff like that.
But there's a certain amount of truth to that, but the business side of it makes you ask the question, then why would Zuffa Boxing go after the Muhammad Ali Act? Because they want to be promoted whatever with the UFC. Now we just really witnessed that the UFC business model is now collapsing. Many fighters for at least 15 years of the top
it's
fighters.
Okay, but that stuff can go under the rug and whatever and keep moving, you know.
But at the end of the day.
But why they want to take the Muhammad Ali Act? Because it's giving way too much power to the clowns of the circus. Okay, the circus is the big thing. The circus, yeah, the fighters are the clowns, are the entertainers. Those are the guys who entertain the crowd. But the circus is bigger than the entertainers. The circus is where the entertainers go to perform. So you cannot have the entertainer making more money than the circus, because then the circus cannot pay the freaking entertainer. So you have to keep it balanced. And
The
right
entertainers are why the circus exists. The
No,
circus
no.
itself is just, let me finish. The circus itself is just a vessel for the entertainer.
No,
the guy who walks, the guy who does the tightrope, the juggler. You stand on the street, you're not gonna. Let me finish. You stand on the street and do the same act. You're not gonna make the money you'd make if you rock with the circus, because guess what the circus has. The circus
is where you go, because I can find too many boxers with the same talent making a star.
Let me finish. The circus has what's called the ringleader. That's the guy with the tall hat, the red jacket. He has the bullhorn. He's telling you to act. He's talking it up. That's what the circus brings. The circus brings the platform.
It's
the circus
everything.
The circus is the big tent. The circus is the big tent. From the big tent, you now have every individual that's there. The elephant trainer, the lion trainer. Everyone comes in there. Everyone comes in there so they can perform. They perform at the highest levels. That's what Top Rank. That's what these companies are doing. That's what they've been doing. If it wasn't for companies like Top Rank, if it wasn't companies like PBS, at the end of the day, half the fighters would never have the names. We wouldn't know who they are.
The Muhammad Ali Act is giving way too much power to these boxers, and
it's supposed to.
No, hell no.
Why wouldn't it?
Why? Because I'm a pro promoter guy.
I don't give a fuck who you are. You work for me.
No, yes. So the promoter. No,
so why the fuck would I give you more of my money and give you the authority over me while I'm an independent contractor?
You don't have money if I don't make the fights. If I don't make the people interested in you.
Bro, I don't fucking need you to make. I don't necessarily need you to make fights, because at the end of the day. You have major fights that happen without necessarily the
like what
you used it in conjunction with them. You had Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence. Them two dudes put the fight together. Roy Jones versus Bernard Hopkins. Them two dudes put the fight together.
No, they don't put it together. And what was okay?
At the end of the day, Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather. Them dudes put that fight together.
No. That was a bigger promotion behind. And what happened was only those two fight, and everything was trash. They stole from boxing. The promoter is very important, because that's the person that keep the people interested, not for the fight and the card that is happening tonight, the 4 or 5 cards that is coming down the road. All these boxers that pretend to be promoters and make their own fight, the only shit that they did was stealing from boxing, lose money, and learn the hard way that a promoter is the most important piece in the boxing game. And Don King teach me that.
See, Don King, I would not use Don King as an example.
Cabrón, you can make any boxer a superstar if you put him the right opponents in front of him. Bob Arum teach me that already. You know, any fool can be a freaking mega star if he got charisma, and I put the right opponents and sell it to the right people. You know, so the boxer don't understand that. Yes, and what you do is dangerous, but I can find 50 guys that will do the same shit for the same amount of money or less.
And that's why the Muhammad Ali Act is so important, because it protects the fighters from that type of behavior.
That's what they tell
the promoters. Let me finish.
I even haven't read it yet, the Muhammad Ali Act, but that is what they tell us.
I'm just trying to say it like this. I know you're passionate, but you got to let me finish as well. What I'm saying is this: when you look at the abuse prior to the Muhammad Ali Act, where so many fighters were actually abused, you had fighters who were great fighters who didn't get their money because the promoters can dictate to you at the time, well, these were my expenses. So this is why This is why the Muhammad Ali
No,
Act
it's because
became
they have it
important
hookers,
because-
they have it babies.
Let me
He was
finish.
asking
You gotta
money
let me
to the
finish.
promoter, and but espérate, let me
gotta-
explain that part. Let me
Bro,
explain
you
that
gotta
part.
let me finish. I
They
know
was
you're
asking
passionate,
money-
but you gotta let
Pero
me finish.
espérate, let me explain that part. They was asking money to the promoter ahead, pay me the house, pay me the car, pay me this. So when he go to fight, of course I'm gonna give you your money, but I have to get all the money that I give
It doesn't
you
matter
ahead,
anything you just said,
you
right?
know. But then they say, oh, he stole from me. Right? I told you that you're gonna fight for $5 million, but took me $20 million to create this fight, and because I made 50 million, now you say that I stole from you.
It
Because I
doesn't,
made
bro.
15 and I offer you 2, but you don't
You
know how
have-
much work I have to
Malazar. You have actual fucking history. Fighters have told you what the fuck happened between their promoters. So at
That's
the end
their
of the day,
line
the
of the
Muhammad
story.
Ali Act.
That's the
You
line
gotta
of the
listen to me,
story.
bro. You gotta stop talking and listen to me. What I'm saying is this: at the end of the day, the Muhammad Ali Act was absolutely necessary. Does it have the teeth to actually have the trigger mechanisms that make the promoters pay? No, it does not. And this is why they wanted to fight even more to strengthen the Muhammad Ali Act. Because at the end of the day, the promoter works for you. You actually come into the game, and the way fighters used to come into the game, they were independent contractors. The promoter was the only guy that said, yeah, I can put together the venue, I can do this for you, I can do these things for you. These are the things you don't know how to do. So yes, they some promotional companies, you know, are great at that. Other promotional companies, they can't put together a card. So what I'm saying is there are these rare occasions where the fighters took that because they understood the game. And once you understand the game and you understand how fights are put together, then it actually puts your promoter's job in jeopardy, because now you know what's called the business of boxing. As a chef, you can cook all you want, but can you run a restaurant? You feel what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is this, in short, is that the Muhammad Ali Act actually protected the fighters from the abuses that were actually on record, the extortion that was actually on record of what promoters were doing to fighters. Even great fighters like Muhammad Ali. You feel what I'm saying? Which I don't. Which the act is actually named after. So when someone says, when you look at a young fighter today, and we're looking at, you know, the situation with Boots, and we're looking at the situation with Oscar and Virgil, to where Virgil puts out this thing where he's going to sue Oscar because Oscar didn't make this fight for him. That's his job, to make that fight. You can't fucking sit there and tell me that fight needs to mature or whatever. I'm telling you, I want this fight. Just
but
like
the Muhammad Ali Act,
let me finish.
Too much money.
You're
talking way too long.
Let me finish.
You've been taking for a minute there.
It doesn't matter. You keep.
I'm gonna explain to you why.
Right,
because before the Muhammad Ali Act, the boxers have tigers, have helicopter, have belly, have mansions. Oh my God, boxer was millionaires. After the Muhammad Ali Act, no boxer have made money. Because the Muhammad
fuck are
Ali,
you talking about?
Yes, look. After they signed the Muhammad Ali
Canelo
Act,
Alvarez just made.
Oh my God, one boxer. After Canelo Alvarez, and how long he been fighting? One boxer. Okay, one boxer.
Floyd Mayweather, Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that was before the Muhammad Ali Act.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, Muhammad Ali Act was after Mike Tyson, after Tito Trinidad, after Oscar De La. The Muhammad Ali Act was signed after the 2000. And that shit fucked boxing. The Muhammad Ali Act actually fucked up boxing at all. Now you see how everything went downhill. Yes, it needs to be fixed.
Hey, hold on real
quick. The Muhammad Ali Act needs to be fixed.
Hold on real quick. All right, we took a slight chill pill, but hold on. Explain it, and I guess as brief as you can, Melazar. Explain it from your perspective. Explain to us
why
the detriment of the Muhammad Ali Act. What happened?
Okay, the Muhammad Ali Act took power and control from the promoter right? The one who create the business, the one who do the business and collect and create the money, and give way too much power and control to the people that perform that work. Yes, your job is difficult, but anyway, that's what you choose to do for living. So now the promoter have have to break down everything. He don't make when a promoter now made a car, he don't have enough revenue, and the boxer got way too much power to ask way too much stuff and have way too much control that don't give a wiggle room for the promoter to make money and make deals and make stuff. That's the reason they're asking all this crazy money, and nobody can pay for it.
So let me ask you a question. In short, is Zuffa going to be successful?
I don't know. I think Sufa gonna be a pro box with better high budget, but I don't think, I think boxing gonna survive. Another promoter's gonna show up. Another new money gonna pop in, but Sufa boxing is gonna be, alternative, but it's not gonna be what people think. It's just gonna be a pro box with a title.
Can I just read something real quick?
Go ahead, AC. Go ahead. What was your understanding of the Muhammad Ali Act, AC?
Well, I'm gonna read it from what the act actually is, and from this is my understanding of the Muhammad Ali Act. Federal legislation was enacted to protect the rights and welfare of the boxers, improve safety, and increase fairness in the boxing industry. Basically, everything that I was talking about. So when it comes down to that,
but how?
What part of that, just let me finish. What part of that gave way too much power to the person who's actually getting punched in
when
the
you read the Muhammad Ali, like you go details by details, like they making the laws, because right there they just put you just something so you can read and say, oh my God, no, it's terrible if they take it away. But when you read the law, because laws have loopholes and have a lot of stuff writing and have words that means some stuff that block you. You need to read the whole act, the whole law.
I have read the whole Muhammad Ali Act.
You?
On it.
So
at the end of the day, I agree with
that
everything that's
huge. That shit is a bunch of paragraphs from a bunch of words.
Let me say something though, because this was my understanding, and this is how I see it in short. I thought that the Muhammad Ali Act made sure that there was a firewall between the promoter and the manager. So the promoter, he got a business, they get the budget.
Yes.
The manager, they have the fighter's interest in mind. So what happened was, in an instance where, let's just say we go to Amazon and we got a fight, and they say, all right, this is my budget. It prevents them from saying that, okay, all right, well, we got 15 million for this. And then the promoter coming down and saying, all right, well, we're gonna pay the fighter 1.5 million, and then we're gonna get
exactly. Now the promoter cannot do that.
And then we're gonna give the op, he gonna make one. So I got what I say, 15 million. I got 15 million
for a budget to make a card. The whole budget is 15 million.
But to make sure that there was like a controlling interest from the manager, so that they know that, okay, well, based on everything I've seen, right, it's eight fighters all together, right, like 4 and 4, right, and the budget for this was 15 million, so that the promoter is not like fucking the fighter out of what
the fighter.
So hold on. Fucking the fighter in the sense that the budget was this much, but I'm only knowing and I'm only privy to this much. I thought that the Muhammad Ali Act made that transparent and kept the firewall, so that so like with Zuffa, because I'm thinking this is what happened with the UFC or whatever, and why they was complaining, and why we got Ngannou coming over wanting to box and shit. Because it was the same situation with Dana White, to where the network and whatever, they had X amount of dollars, but that shit wasn't filtering down to the fighter, and they was being told that, oh, this is all that's available, this is all I'm paying you, when they was making out like fat rats. Even though, yeah, they control the show, it's their business and all that, but the fighters, and they had to fight often and whoever they wanted. That's what I thought. I thought it kept the firewall up.
Sometimes, yeah, it sounds good when you say it like that, right? But let's see, I give you a budget to make 50 million. But in those 4 boxers, you got a guy that got a good name. But now that is so transparent, he say, you're making 50 million, but no, I'm not fighting if you don't pay me 10. But bro, I got other 3 boxers to pay. I have to make this card. I have to pay all these people, the ring announcer, all the girls, everything. So how am I gonna pay you 10 million to you and only use 5 million to do the other whole part of the card? That's what happening. You know?
No, that's not what's happening.
Here's what's happening.
Here's what I'm saying.
Let's hear from AC, but go ahead, AC.
Here's what I'm saying. That was part of the provision, one of the provisions of the Muhammad Ali Act. That was the part that everybody was talking about, and that was the part Bernard Hopkins injected himself. That is Bernard Hopkins' contribution to the Muhammad Ali Act. He put that provision in right there because he himself testified in front of Congress that said, listen, there were situations where we were told we were getting this percentage. And then once the fight happened, the promoter told us, no, the fight was a loss, so you don't get the money. Yes. But you said I signed a contract for that. So whether the fight was a win or a loss, I'm still supposed to get my money.
So now if the fight was a loss, you have to get your money, but I have to take the loss and sell you again and make another boxing card for you? Hell no, brother. Hell no.
Why was it doesn't, but
that's
you have
what
to
is
understand
happening.
Who put their life. The problem is that when you adopt that ideology and you adopt that attitude,
you choose that. Who put their money?
I don't give a fuck about money versus life. Look at Muhammad Ali. And
he got paid. He chose that. He chose to be a boxer. Like
because the Muhammad Ali Act removed, in certain situations, a fighter could come in with loaded gloves. You can stack your.
But no, we have rules and laws for that. We have boxing commissions for that.
Yeah, but the commissions were at those times. The commissions were run by the fucking mob, bro. The commissions were run by the mob. You know that as well as I know that. Let's not do that.
The mob is over. It's a new era, and that's
at the end of the day, that's why we have the Muhammad Ali Act and it works.
I don't care. Like the boxers choose to be a boxer. That like I choose to do my job. They choose to be that for what? Because they got a dream of getting money and title.
So it's okay for a guy to cheat and take my life or give me brain damage. It's okay because I'm just a lonely fighter. I don't mean anything because there's 10 other knuckleheads out there that are willing to punch themselves in the head and take less money just to be on my show. That's the reason why the Muhammad Ali Act is created. That's the reason why those provisions are put in there.
Yes, and what happened? Boxing went downhill. Nobody's watching it. Boxers are not fighting, and shit is not happening.
110 million. Whether you want to call it novelty boxing, whatever it is, it still falls under the category of boxing. 4.5 million, 4.5 million views were for one of the highest
stadiums are empty. At the end of the day, nobody wanna buy the streaming. Like no, like legit TV or streaming platform wanna stream.
At the end of the day, there's reasons,
bro.
At the end of the day, there's reasons why boxing has the viewership has gone down. It's a reason why the viewership is going. It's not the Muhammad Ali Act because CBS Channel 2 that used to show championship fights. ABC that used to show championship fights,
but need to be fixed because the promoter need to.
You don't like facts. You just like your opinion.
To get profit.
Your opinion is what you believe. So facts don't matter to you.
No, facts matter. But at the end of the day,
hey, hold on, real quick. What we can do because this is a hot topic. But what we can do is, if y'all want, we can schedule for next week where we can sit down and we can actually do a real debate about the pros and
I would
cons
love
of
to.
the Muhammad Ali Act, and
Yeah,
y'all
would
too
love
can.
to.
Let me read a little bit
we
more
can-
about it.
And yeah, so we can both come and it can be organized, and there'll be a time where you can talk and then you can talk, because this is interesting to me. I like both perspectives. I mean, I'm trying to understand both. I'm like, that act had to be put in for something, and I think this Zuffa, I think that I don't want us to get too heated about it, because I think Zuffa gonna be like a fart in the wind. I think,
Yes.
you know, so I don't really want to get us bent out. We have a good camaraderie here on the channel. So I want to do it. If we're gonna do this as far as the Muhammad Ali, let's do it the right way and have a real debate. You know what I'm saying, about it, where it'll be time, and you can have your time to talk, Melazar, and AC, you can have your time to rebuttal, and we can
let's set this up, bro.
We'll set it up for next week, though. Let's do that.
For sure.
Let's cool down off of this real quick. Hold on, real quick.
You feel what I'm saying?
What happened was me and AC, we got heated a long time ago. We got heated, and then we came back because we it's not personal.
It's not personal.
We learned how to talk to each other. We learned how to talk to each other, and it was no resentment or nothing ever. And we wound up being.
I don't feel like.
It's a hot topic, and let's do that right. Let's get back. Yeah. Let's get back to. I'm gonna ask y'all this. So I'm gonna set that up, and I got your email, Melazar. We gonna set it up. We gonna have a good one, because I think this is something that, from both perspectives, I'm leaning more pro, but I gotta, from my understanding, I gotta sit down and I'll mediate it, and I'll let y'all, have y'all thing. Y'all can ping pong it. You know what I'm saying? We'll do a whole segment on that. But let me ask y'all this. Let's end out on this. Not end out, but let's start tapering down to this.
Okay.
When it come down to these three guys, right? I want y'all to one by one tell me what each one of these guys need to do to kind of take themselves to the next level, like to appease everybody and take themselves to the next level. And we'll kind of taper out on that.
Appease these guys to take them to the next level.
What do these guys got to do? So what do Shakur got to do going forward to kind of, like solidify himself with hair?
Basically, I'm that's the Jack Tripper hair. You feel me? That's the funny part of it. At the end of the day, Keyshawn has to put on a show-stopping performance. I've seen some recent training videos of Keyshawn. He's not looking good. He's not looking like the Keyshawn of old. I don't know if that's purpose. I don't know what that's about. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm saying it like this. Keyshawn, after you come out with, if you should be victorious in this fight and beat Jermaine Ortiz, your next interview, because they're going to talk to you, that's your time to like really clean up some of the mess between some of the things you've said, and then you got Bernie out here, acting like a whistleblower to the things you said. You know what I'm saying? Then you could just really clear it up, because now you'll have freedom of mind. You got back in the ring, you got a victory over a very, very tough opponent. Your future could look very good for you. Shakur Stevenson, it's pretty much the same thing, but you have to fight in a manner that you told us you wouldn't do anymore. That was the last time you're going to see you fight like that. But yet, going into this fight, you're telling us you're going to give us a performance like a performance against Teofimo Lopez. So now you built up the expectation. We've been on the phone chatting. You got me all worked up. You know what I'm saying? I'm on my way to go see you. Let's see what you deliver on.
What about
Hitchens? You're doing your job if you're playing the chess game of inserting yourself as the villain. You've already got the hate. You've already got the doubt. You've already got all of that stuff. My suggestion to you is lean into it, because out of any one of these other two guys who would want to try to play the villain, you are actually the perfect candidate. You feel me? You recognize where you went wrong with certain things with Eddie, but then you clean that up. You got the boxing community hating you, so lean into that hate and capitalize on it. Your best views come from people tuning in to watch somebody fuck you up, and each time you beat them impressively, oh, he gonna duck this person, then you make that fight. Well, he gonna duck, you make that fight and you win that one. You make that fight and you win that one. They're gonna keep with the narrative to say you're boring, but you have a string of victories that keep saying you're stopping people. You ask the question, how is a guy who's stopping people boring? And that's how you build that. You just gotta lean into it. Yeah, I'm the villain. So what? I attach my name to Shakur. So what? I still told that dude I'll fight him. And you play those fine lines, play that villain role. You'll do extremely well like that. And that's where I'll land that plane.
Good shit, man. What about you, Melazar? What you got? Break them down. What they got to do?
Hello, ahora. I was cracking laughing with Keishan and the t-shirt and the hair. Oh my god, that was funny. And look over there, Hitchens. No, but for Keishan gonna see why he's still the son of Andy Cruz this Saturday. You know, Andy gonna pass by him. I think he got a tough fight with Jermaine Ortiz, and I think Ortiz pulling out of it, you know, because the way that Andy gonna win this Saturday, gonna put pressure in Keishan, and that's gonna make him pay a price. He gonna come back of it, and gonna do stuff, but it's gonna start to stuff rough for him this 2026. Shakur, I see him. You know what? I've been thinking in my head for a minute. Every time I think Tio gonna come out victorious and pull it off and stuff. Something told me that Shakur can do it too. So I'm still there. His future, I don't know. This 2026 look cloudy, kind of depending on this performance. Hitchens, whoa. Hitching his strap over there with the IBF strap. I think he's a big guy. He got a long arm reach, and I think moving to 147 is gonna be his best option. He already got an IBF title in 140. If he move up and nobody beat him in 140, and he's mandatory, don't want to face him, so then capture over there in 147 the WBA title or WBO. So those one you can wiggle better, you can have better defense, you don't need to face your mandatory all the time, and it's gonna be better for him. But I don't see 140 Hitchens staying and be successful. He need to go to 47. And I think over there, like with his size, his arm reach and stuff, he can do a lot of damage. And plus, like he don't have to hydrate. And plus that clause from IBF, nobody wanna face him down there in 140. So, but that's what I see for those guys.
Good stuff. All logical. You know what I'm saying? Makes sense. What's up, Dev, man? Appreciate you coming through again, man. What's on your mind, man?
What's going on, Body? What's going on, panel? Shout out AC.
What's up?
Yeah, I tapped in a little late, man, so I don't know what the topic is right now. What you guys chopping on?
Basically, Richardson Hitchens did an interview with Ogden Barack, and you know he clarified things, and he basically said that Shakur is his brother, and you know, like they basically said they wouldn't fight, but if the money was right, they would. And
Another
I was
brother.
saying, man, the way boxing is going, man, we in the soft and sassy era, and I was like, the powers that be pushed so hard and tirelessly to get take up out of there, and now we in the Shakur era, and we're in the friend zone. We in this whole, so now it's like now they 3 Ps in a pod, and so I said that Richardson Hitchens might be the smartest one because part of it is he showed some humbleness. He showed some humbleness, and he's one of them ones that'll sit down and think, and he'll correct it before he get out. He'll get in an interview and say, "No, I should have cleared that out," or "No, I misspoke on this one and that." So he did some of that. He clarified some things. He got a fight coming up with Oscar Duarte. I explained how we landed at Oscar Duarte, how his opponents got, how they didn't make a deal, but he signed up to fight Ortiz. And basically Shakur put Keyshawn up, and that's how they got that fight. So that's how we landed at Duarte. He was on the undercard of the Ryan and Barrios. But what we were getting at was at the end was what do these 3 guys need to do to be successful? Like to like step it up a notch and to secure themselves amongst the boxing fans. That was the ultimate question.
And when you say 3, you mean Shakur, Hitchens, and who's the third one you referring to?
Oh, right here.
This is funny, right? Look at Keisha.
Yeah,
I think out of all those 3, that one on the right, man, he's gonna have to do some retooling more so than the other 2. But his brand took a little hit, man, from that De Los Santos stunt. Man, you know what's interesting? I wanted to ask you, you and the panel about Hitchens. I don't know, man. I feel like I haven't seen enough. Maybe I'm not analyzing it correctly, but I see the skills. I love his jab. He has really good IQ. And I've seen a lot of boxers with those similar traits over the past decades. Does Hitchens have the next gear? And I think the only way we'll find out is with a good opponent. So similar to this Tio fight, right? I think Tio is the perfect opponent for Shakur to show that extra bag. So January 31st, we're going to see if that guy in the middle is going to take that leap you're talking about. Because he's going to have to go into that bag to beat Tio. I've been hearing a lot of talk about that Tio fight, by the way, man. And I think people are sleeping on him for real. Like, this is not going to be no walk in the park. As far as for Hitchens, though, man, I just think he needs the opponent. I would love to see him and Gary fight. Him and Frank will be a good-ass fight. There's a lot of guys at 40, man, so it's really no excuse. I like the Duarte fight, too. Duarte's a tough guy. He's going to come forward, so maybe he pulls out another level of his bag in that fight. So I guess my question to you in the panel is, like, how high are you on Hitchinson? Because I feel like I don't have enough data to accurately see his, how far he can go. And I'm going to end it there.
Good question, man. And I'll tell you like this, like, there's like one, like I'll say, like, out of when I sit down and I listen to outside the ring, when I sit down and I listen to Hitchens, it's like 1 or 2 cringy things that he said. I'm like, ooh, but I like him because I think he's probably the smartest one out of the bunch. I believe that he's actually playing chess. I think that he believes that with the backing that Shakur got, it's better to keep him as an ally, even though he kind of got screwed over a little bit. I'm like, if you my homie, I look at it different, but I'm on the outside looking in. I'm not causing no schism because, to be honest, at the end of the day, Shakur is one of my guys. Hitchens is one of my guys. Right now, at this point in time, I'm not really on Keyshawn, man. I like him, but I can't get down. I'm like the uncle that's gonna be like, nah, man. Sit your ass down on that couch, close my screen door, have a fucking seat, read a book. You know what I'm saying? Like, do some push-ups. Like, That's what I'm on. So Hitchens, I'm high on Hitchens because of a couple things. One, he's been New York through and through. Now I'm down here in Maryland. I'm in Baltimore, but like he New York through and through, right? He had it. He got it out the mud. He don't got one of these boxing dads. He don't got all this. He don't really have a clique because he's like the odd man out when it comes to the Threes company. I mean, I think it's just an affiliation. It's just like having allies in the sport. With the affiliation with Shakur. But as far as in the ring, Richardson Hitchens has never fought somebody with an upside down record. He came in, he didn't go down to 35 and suck himself down like some of the greats, right? He came right in at 40. He's been there, and his ascension has been kind of rough. He got shelved with TMT. He survived TMT. He got out of that deal. Got signed by Matchroom. Eddie took him under his wing. He been flourishing. He is not one of them guys that's been fighting a whole bunch of tomato cans. He's been fighting like highly skilled guys since the jump. He don't. If you go back and look at this record, and this is what I ask people to do. Don't take my word. Go back and do your research. He is a very skilled boxer. I look at him like him and Devin are like two different sides of the same coin. Whereas Devin, he'll go to the body a little bit more. He'll go all the way on the inside with you sometimes. But he's a skilled boxer. I think he's more coordinated than Devin. He has more killer instinct than Devin. And I just think that the difference between him and Devin is opportunities. If he had a bill with a bullhorn and a boxing voice behind him, everybody be like, man, Richardson Hitchens the shit. You know what I'm saying? But because he's a late bloomer and he's with that IBF where it's a 10-pound rehydration, which I give people with the IBF a little extra credit because you're fit. You know what I'm saying? The reason why we seen him against Lemos like that because that was his first time. He didn't have a good nutrition. Then he kind of figured it out. I think that he's going to flourish in a unification. And I think he's going to probably flourish when he go to 47. I would love for him to get a unification. I think Gary Antoine, who was one of my other guys, because 140 is my division. So I like a lot of the boxers at 140. I'm probably one of the most well-versed, not gonna say the most, but one of them when it comes to 140, because I've been studying that division. I just think that when it comes down to opportunities, as the skill level rise, he kind of want to get compensated. And he saw what happened over there on Matchroom. He's like a red-headed stepchild. He said he misspoke when he came out and announced he was a free agent after he beat Kambosos and pulled Tio in the ring. That was the fight we were supposed to make. But he is smart enough to say, listen, I don't call none of these guys out. I only called out Tio and I called out Devin. These other guys are calling me out. He's like, I'm willing to fight anybody. If it can get me closer to a title, if it's a unification, if it's a big name, a big fight, I'm down. So a lot of people he's an afterthought for a lot of people. And they hear him talking this shit because he's confident, just like everybody else. So it's like high school where when the bully pick on you, everybody else decide they're going to pick on you. Is he the greatest boxer ever? You can't say that, but he is very highly skilled. And he came up in the Floyd Mayweather. He got signed to Floyd. There's a reason why Floyd signed him. So, like you said, I'm happy about the Duarte because I can explain how we got there. And I'm not going to kick him when he's down. I just think one or two of the things he says is kind of cringe. But I think he a consummate professional. That's in a nutshell. That's it. I think the Duarte fight is going to show me a lot because Kenny Sims, pretty smooth boxer, but he let Duarte take advantage of him, and it was in Chicago, and Kenny Sims didn't lay it all on the line. I think Richardson is at a point to where he wants the money, he wants to be compensated, he wants a little more respect in the game. So I think he's going to take a little more risk. He's getting ready. He said his time is limited at 140, and he's going to be going to 147 soon. So I don't know. He's like, if he can stay and get a unification, he ain't going to have to go through the IBF. So you kind of got a little bit. You got to judge them guys under a curve. That's the same belt that Earl had first. That's the same belt that Boots had, where they had that 10-pound rehydrate. Sabril had it for a long time. It's the same reason why people like Virgil and his camp, Robert Garcia, is saying that they wouldn't fight Baccarat Mertazaleh because of the 10-pound rehydration. That's why I give them guys a little extra credit when you got that IBF. Once he get off that IBF or in the unification, I think we'll see his full potential. That and these guys gotta want to fight. The last thing I'm gonna say is this: he had T.O. in the ring after he stopped Cambosos doing body work. T.O. got in the ring. They announced they were supposed to fight on Alcatraz. That's like a Mandela effect that Turkey. He had it lined up just like that tennis court thing that he had with Belonga and all them. He had something set up like that for Alcatraz where it was supposed to be T.O. and Richardson Hitchens. When Ryan lost that fight, it knocked everybody off Azimuth. That left Devin without an opponent. So then Devin needed an opponent, and it made everybody else slide over. That's how we actually getting this T.O. and Shakur fight. Because when Keyshawn went on hiatus, Shakur made the phone call. They got it popping. But that was supposed to be either Keyshawn moving up or Hitchens was supposed to get Keyshawn. That's how we got here to a Duarte. So I'm not mad at it. And that's how I see it. That's how
I go. You want to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
I go the, because everybody told you the good side. Now it's me. I don't like Hitchens. One, I think he messed up his brand when he don't want to fight Matias, right? When he was the mandatory and was a mistake. So Matias fought Paro and lose to Paro. That maybe can be Hitchens and Hitchens got a win over Matias. He never won it. Then when Hitchens was the champion, Matias was the number one contender. He chose to fight Camboso. So that already affect kind of his brand with a lot of fan base, right? I'm not saying he's not a good boxer and amateur boxing style, but the problem with him, when he think he got the fight in the pocket, he run you away the last round, right? He don't entertain the crowd. So it's kind of hard to sell him because Eddie Hearn is always looking for a quick buck. He thought that putting the Hitchens and Camboso in New York will sell more than Subriera and Hitchens. So that was another part of it. That is the reason I'm not saying docking, because there's other shit behind boxing that we don't know. So Hitchens, yes, he need a little bit of more finishing the opponents, right? Because he got a great jab. He can put a lot of opponent with that jab. The problem with Lemos, what happened with Lemos, how Lemos make him look, what he say after the fight, put other fans away. But I think the problem with Hitchens, yes, is that everybody is run away from the IBF. Everybody who have the IBF title have a big problem to defend it, right? That's the reason they got their mandatories. So getting this big money fight under the IBF is kind of complicated. So that's what I always think he's better in 147, because he's gonna be better over there fighting for all the titles. But Hitchens isn't a bad, because he's a great boxer. He got a great jab, but he's not a guy that is gonna entertain you. He don't care about entertaining the crowd. He care more about winning a W by the scorecard. And if he see it too easy, maybe he get the knockdown. But if he see that the knockdown he gonna get in deep waters, he don't look for it. Like so. Those are the things. I'm not a fan of him, but because I'm not a fan of him, I'm not gonna tell you, oh, the guy is trash and this and that, and go you personal stuff. So that's where I am with him. Like he don't entertain me like right now.
Word. Yeah, to answer your question, Dev.
Yeah, man, appreciate it, man, for sure.
For me, I'll say it like this. Hitchens, I always liked Hitchens. But when I would look at fights and some of the fights that I was looking at, he wasn't on those cards. And then the cards that he was on, some of those fights didn't necessarily like interest me as far as the main card and then wanting to pay for that. So I missed out on a lot because of those type of scenarios. But I always had love for the dude, and I can go back and remember when he had that spat with Shakur, when he was sitting there and he was like, bro, how can you be mad at me when I'm only telling the truth? You know what I'm saying? So that I do remember, and I remember seeing Hitchens from back in the day on you know, on different YouTube channels and stuff like that. Recently, looking at his fighting style and everything, Body kept on asking me, he was like, how could you be a fan of Devin Haney and not like Richardson Hitchens? So now that we in this era of internet, I went back and watched full fights of the dude. Some of the ones that I missed and I was kind of interested in, and I was like, dude is nice. I mean, when you look at basically his last 5 fights, he only had one fight that they try to create a narrative off, but the other fights were basically stoppages. So that's why I was saying what I was saying earlier about Hitchens, that he just needs to lean in to the villain role that's already casted upon him. Because now you're doing what Floyd Mayweather did, which whereas you got people wanting to tune in just to see you lose. And the ratio of people who are looking at you, tuning in to want you to win is a 60-40 ratio. So that is incredible when you can generate that much hate, that these dudes continuously spend money to watch you, to want to see you lose or get beat up. That is a special talent, so lean into that. That's your key to becoming the star that you want to become. So for me, I like the fact that he has all of these detractors. I like the fact that, you know, people are trying to create a narrative about him, but when he goes in the ring, what was boring about him fighting Kambosos? Someone please tell me that. He stopped that man impressively with the thing that this channel named is Bodywork. You know what I'm saying? He beat the guy that beat Sabril Matias and beat him impressively. What was boring about that fight? So at the end of the day, when you break down the narratives don't match what you actually see in the ring. So lean into that. And that right there is like, you know, for me, that's your superhero power. And this is why I want to see him go even further now. You know what I'm saying? Because you're the type of villain that I can get behind, because you could actually fight. So yeah.
So let me ask you something, Macy. You said
yeah, like
your
Camboso.
style, right?
Yeah, pero mira, Camboso, a 135 that everybody was beat already, right? Because that time that Camboso wasn't the Camboso that beat Teofimo. It was a beaten Camboso. And he brought it from 135 to 140 when he had a mandatory, and everyone watched that fight. That is what happened.
Okay,
like,
so
Paro,
was the fight entertaining?
Okay fight.
That was the question. You're trying to detract from the fighter. Was the fight entertaining? Yes. Did he do something that Devin Haney couldn't do, that Teofimo Lopez couldn't do, and actually stop him?
But yeah, in a division that he never belonged to a bigger guy. But that's what I'm saying. That is what people talk about. Like okay, you can win, but it's not always winning. It's at who you beat and how you do it. Yes, you knock out Camboso. It's like grabbing a guy from a, you know, that's what people don't like him sometimes. Don't go and watch him, miss his fights, you know, like Andy Cruz was the co-main event in that card. Nobody told nobody, and that place was not even, and that's the problem. Eddie Hearn don't know how to market him and where to market and get the opponents that will make him look better and more entertaining. You know, he
got him the guy who beat Sabril Matias.
He got Paro because he don't got him. Paro the Hitchens was the mandatory by the IBF, and Paro won the title of the IBF, so he just did the mandatory stuff. Wasn't like he got him from other place. It's like Hitchens was the mandatory. He don't want to face Subriel Matias, and Subriel Matias choose Paro. That's why Amparo defeats Subriel. Yeah, but then instead of Hitchens accepting the fight with Subriel, he say no. So that's why another fan base say, bro.
But to be honest, Melazar, they both walked away. Like I had to roast Liam and Richardson when they walked away. They both decided not to go for that. And Richardson Hitchens, when it was time for because the fact of the matter, a fact is Richardson Hitchens was never offered Subriel Matias. He was never offered that fight.
Yeah, he was.
Him and Liam was in line, and they were supposed to fight a title eliminator. They both walked away.
No.
Went and got another fight.
And
Eddie set that fight up. So that's a narrative.
No. Hitchens won the number one contender for the IBS when he fought Lemos. That was for the number one contender for the IBF title to find a title defense for Subriel. Then they was in the talks, and he said he don't feel good. The 10-pound rehydration crawl, whatever he said, whatever. So because they don't have an opponent for Subriel and they need to find a fight and make a fight. So okay, let's get Liam Paro that maybe you're gonna beat him. He's Australian. What happened? Liam Paro won, whatever. Okay, then they got Hitchens. So Hitchens is the number one IBF contender, and Paro is the champion. So and both are under Eddie Hearn. So what he did, but let me make the fight, go to the IBF rules and make the fight. Hitchens won Paro. He defeat Paro, but. Yes, was it? So for people who like that type of boxing, they can maybe find it. But for a lot of people that like more action, they don't like it, because Paro was that European style, jumping back and forward. Hitchens was trying to find him, was the jab. And yes, for some people, but I don't know. Like
at the end of the day, Malazar, you are right when you said what you were saying, certain parts about Hitchens and things like that. He did come out and he did say the issue for him was this would have been his second fight under the IBF rehydration rule because he was in that contender status or he became the mandatory or whatever. It's something that triggers you to now, really at that level kind of have to fight. And I think that's what he was alluding to. I don't know. I could have been mixing it up. So he was saying the issue was he was trying to find out the proper balance. He kind of said, I would take a tune-up to get my body right, and then we could do this with Subriel. But he also said, being that he was the mandatory, as you're saying,
when Subriel lost, he took a tune-up. No, he went straight to the Amparo. That bothered another fan base. Like, bro, you say you need a tune-up to fight the champion, but now Subriel lost. And
because it wasn't a tune-up to fight the champion. It was a tune-up to get his body right
but he never had that rehydration. But he never had the tune-up, and he faced the champion.
But he took out the time. He didn't have the tune-up, but he stayed out the ring.
It's okay. But that a lot of fan base.
This the whole thing. The timeline is off. He said what he said in the interview, right? But what happened was, and this is what I don't like, they both, like Liam Paro, because originally it wasn't supposed to be no Gustavo Lemo. Originally it was Liam Paro and Richardson Hitchens. They were supposed to fight the eliminator.
No, Liam Paro was not even ranked in the IBF.
Let me finish. Originally, they was going to fight eliminator. I know because I got a video. I used to do Subriel videos like
I know.
So and I was on it. So I had to roast both of them. I said, hold on, man, that's looking funny in the light. Liam Paro and Richardson Hitchens both walked away. What happened was Liam Paro, he doubled back. He got Subriel Matias. But what happened? They fought him and Gustavo Lemos fought in April. the fight between Subriel and Liam Paro was in June. Like, so Liam Paro, and that was Eddie. That was under Eddie's thing, because Eddie didn't even get him Montana Love. He was gunning for Montana Love. He fed Montana Love to Liam Paro. He saw what he had in Liam Paro, and then
that was a big mistake for a bunch of Americans, not just Haitian, you know, to avoid Subriel and two European defeat him. You feel me?
Okay, like, so timeline wise, that don't add up. They both, Liam Paro, they both got heat for that. You know what I'm saying? But Liam Paro doubled back, but that was under Eddie. Eddie wasn't getting Richardson those fights, and technically there was never an offer. This is what I be trying to say about Devin. There was never an offer for Richardson Hitchens to fight Subriel. As much, because I called him, I said, man, hold on, that don't sound right. I got on Richardson Hitchens, but I got on Liam Paro too. Liam Paro doubled back and got the fight.
With the added clause and stuff, like the boxer can say that, you know, you give me all the fight, but don't give me that guy and whatever, make it, you know, but Hitchens isn't a bad boxer. He got a good jab. At the end of the day, he can do stuff that bother the fan base, but I'm not gonna take away he's a good boxer. It's not entertaining that I like my type of boxers to be. You know, if you're gonna be my favorite boxer, we're not gonna be Richardson Hitchens because I don't like that style. But that don't take away he's a good boxer. But the IBF is gonna hold him back. And remember, like guys, though you guys don't like I said, but he's a Haitian, right? And over here, they got it like the ugly dog. You know that story? Like these Olympians, they got silver medal and stuff, and they're the cool kid. But yes, you're an Olympian. And you got our same color skin, but you got our same skin color, but you know you never won nothing, and you represent the other place. Yes, you train with us, you know. So they got that. So I think be friend with Shakur is the worst shit for Hitchens. That's the worst shit he can do. He needs to stay away from them, fight them, and be, you know, don't be friend with them. They don't want to be friend with you. They just want you close so you don't defeat them or make them look bad.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
That don't mean that, you know, I don't have to like your style to see other shit that should not be, you know, like.
Yeah, let me ask. So AC, to follow up what you were saying, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned Hitchens embracing that villain role.
Yeah.
And then going to outclass his opponents in the ring. You know, having that draw, that fans draw, like how Floyd had it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. So I look at this era. So how does Hitchens take that mantle from guys like Shakur and Haney? Like, what's gonna separate him from those guys? Because to me, they have like the same market of fans because of their styles.
Yeah.
How does he fit in that rank right there?
So here's the difference. Shakur wants to be loved. Devin, he really wants to be respected. Devin wants to be loved. Hitchens wants to be hated. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. So if you can mold something like that into yours, whether the comparisons between the guys are true, but you make these statements based on how we already believe these guys. Shakur wants to be respected above anything else in the world. I just want him to respect my skills. I just want him to respect me. I want to go out there and I want to dominate Teal because I want the fans to see how I am and I want them to respect me. Bill and Devin is like, you know, you are hated, but you can see you trying to do what you're trying to do because you want to be loved. Hitchens, yo, you the poor kid from Brooklyn, the Haitian, the Sac-Passe Mapule. Embrace that. Just the way they hated Haitian immigrants who came in the boats in the 70s, in the 80s. You embrace that. Yeah, y'all hate me like them. I don't give a shit. Because you put any one of these dudes in front of me, I'm stopping. Look at my record. They can't say nothing because the end of the fights end in stoppages. I don't know how you have a boring style stopping motherfuckers.
I'm
How
gonna
the
say
fuck
this.
does-
Go ahead. I'm saying. Go ahead. Go
No,
ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm only repeating him because this is what he said in his latest interview. How do you have a boring style when you stopping people? So embrace that. Let people get more pissed. Let Malazar come up here and just try to dismantle him.
Yeah, it's one of them things to where it's like you can't, because I've seen this in boxing, and that's why I asked you that original question, AC, about the whole Devin and things. I was like, hold on, man, they two different sides of the same coin. How you don't like? That's like people saying they don't like Shakur, but they love Devin, and vice versa, right? But this the thing. Richardson Hitchens he needs the opportunity, because at the end of the day, right? Everybody negotiate. We just went through Virgil and Boots and everybody, throwing around the duck. Virgil's asking for, they started up, the camp said 10, and then they went to 7. Richardson was asking for like 2.5. They said no. Keyshawn was asking for damn near just as much as Richardson, and he blew his shit. He had it all in the back, but people give him the scapegoat of blowing his whole event. This point, they making all kind of excuses. Just forgive him. He went to God and he blah blah blah. But the thing is, just like Al Montes, he bringing up Gary Antoine. Gary Antoine is another one of my guys. Gary Antoine has a mandatory, and Gary Antoine would be considered the A side in that situation. Where is the offer? Richardson Hitchens said he wanted the winner of Brian Norman and Devin Haney, and I promise you, if Brian Norman would have won, I bet you they would have gotten negotiations. I know that fight. Brian Norman would have said, all right, you said you had next. I heard you talking all that shit, because they sparred. Devin won. It's crickets. Like, where's the offer? Like, all the A sides, all the people say, oh, they have. That's why I say, don't let your fans do your bidding. And what I mean by that is, if he said he want the winner and Devin won, everybody was cool. I was taken aback, like, damn. Richardson want to go up there and fight Brian Norman. This is before the fight. This is before Devin, did what he did. I was like, wow. I was like, I never saw that. I was like, man, that might be dangerous. I was kind of like nervous because I'm a new Norman fan. I like Norman, even through the loss. But when Devin won, it was crickets. Devin say, I want Rowley, I want Crocker. I think they even talking about Catterall. But I'm like, where is the pressure on the A sides, the guys that got the leverage, that got the the platforms? And right now, technically, Richardson Hitchens is still a free agent. He's not even with Matt Truman. They still do a little talking. They talking or whatever. But like, he's going to go fight Oscar Duarte. That's a golden boy guy. The thing is, Devin, where's the onus on Devin to say, all right, yeah, I hear you, because he can get on there and troll and say, oh, I heard you ask for this. But it's like, you doing everything but let's fight. Your whole slogan. They say everything but let's fight. Where's the offer? Where's the offer from Gary? Because Gary came out after he stopped Kambosos and said, oh man, I beat him 4 times in the amateurs or 3 times in the amateurs. I'm like, come on, bro. Don't pull that card. You've been gone, Gary. And Gary is my guy. But I'm like, you got to get active. And where's the offer? Like, don't go in the interviews and say, yeah, I whoop his ass, or he don't want to see me because I whoop. Send the offer. Like, the A sides ain't sending no offers. So I'm like, we got to keep that same energy when it come down to certain fighters. Just because you don't like certain fighters or whatever, or certain people don't like certain fighters, we got to judge them all accordingly. And I'm thinking, man, this guy, he need the opportunity. Will he beat them all? I'm not sure. Will he beat Gary? I'm not sure. Will he beat Devin? I'm not sure. I would say, Gary, I might lean a little bit more to Gary, depending on how Richardson comes. It's going to be a unification. That might be a true 50-50, right? Because I seen how Puello did it, the pure boxer against Gary. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even think that was as questionable. Will he beat Devin? I probably lean towards him beating Devin. I think that's why Devin ain't send the contract, because pure boxers know other pure boxers. If I'm more on my shit and we fencing and out pointing, but the thing is with Devin, the reason why it probably ain't happening is because Devin's price tag is so high that I don't even know if it'd be enough money for Richardson to get whatever he wants. It'd be like, I ain't gonna fight you for peanuts, and so we be at a dilemma. But my request to everybody listening is, we got to put pressure on everybody. It can't just be, oh, well, you got to do X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, these fighters got to both show the energy to make the fight. And these A sides, the people that say, I'll kick the shit out of them, they got to send these offers. And we ain't gonna never know if Richardson don't get the ops. We could have seen him against Keyshawn. That didn't happen. They both asked for too much money. We could have saw him against Jermaine Ortiz. They both were signed up, and the fight got taken away. Jermaine Ortiz said he didn't even know he was fighting Keyshawn. Keyshawn said he knew he was fighting Ortiz for a long time. Then he lied and said, "Oh, I got the call when I got out the shower." And in another interview, he said, "I got the call after I got done with my charity event." So I'm like, this nigga be lying. But either way, Richardson ain't get a good op. We landed with Duarte. So we got to see him get in there opposite of somebody with a name. You know what I'm saying? To actually show, to like put our theories into test, put it to the test. Until then, we just gonna be internet bickering.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, to piggyback off of what you're saying, Frank Martin is talking about he had conversations with Hitchens, he had conversations with Keyshawn. Frank Martin is also a key player in this whole mix at 140. And after the Duarte fight, Hitchens was mentioning Frank Martin's, the Keyshawn Davis's, and stuff like that. He wanted to actually fight them prior to that. Let's also remember that the fight that Shakur is fighting right now, that was Hitchens' fight versus Teofimo Lopez in that unification on Alcatraz. So after he said what he said, and they had the billing, they made that announcement. Yeah, the next fight, tune in for the next series of these Riyadh type blah 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 blah. Teofimo Lopez versus Richardson Hitchens in the 140-pound unification on Alcatraz. So that was a real thing. So we have to ask, why was that fight snatched away from him? It's not like people say, you know, opportunity like Body said. He had that opportunity. Why did the business of boxing snatch that opportunity away from him and give it to Shakur Stevenson? Now, here's my issue with the Devin Haney versus Hitchens fight. I think people should just forget about it. If we're talking about the price tag of this fight deal that Devin Haney has with Turki Al-Sheikh, he has to have big dance partners. And where Richardson Hitchens at as far as his name recognition and bending into this villain role, it's just not there for him right now. This is not his time. He's at the precipice to start to make it his time. He really understands that. So that's probably why in the thing he said, I would love to fight him, but business-wise, and does it make sense right now? No. I can name some of these big guys, but right now it doesn't make sense. And I really thought that they would want to do something like that with me. But again, when they won that fight, it was crickets. And leading even up to that fight, Bill Haney outside of New York talking about where the fuck's Hitchens.
Yeah, I was asking. I said, why the fuck is Bill up there with Campos? It was like 4 against 2. It was like it was Richardson Hitchens and Coach Lenny, and it was Bill. It was motherfucking Cambosa Senior and Junior. I'm like, what the fuck is going? And why are you there, Bill? Like, so I'm like, they know who to pick on and who not, because Dev, man, Dev tried to go for Crocker. He tried to go for Catterall. He wanted Mario Barrios.
He needs that name. He needs that name to justify that next $11 million payday.
For Frank Martin, Hitchens cannot ask $11 million. But
he's already signed a deal. That's
with who?
Deal. With Turkey.
With
Turkey.
He got one fight left.
Yeah, he's got one fight left, and that one fight left
with Mashroom
at $11 million.
Yeah, I don't know how. That's the crazy part. He don't fill stadiums or stuff like that to be asking $11 million. Who the hell gonna pay for Richardson Hitchens right now $11 million when you cannot even fill up 3,000?
No, it's not Hitchens. Devin Haney.
No, he ain't asking for no 11 mil. No, that's Devin. Devin get.
Devin is other stuff. Like how?
That's part of his.
He ain't asking for no 11. We ain't gonna put no.
He got paid somewhere around.
The rumors are crazy there. I was like what? Who is asking what? No, okay.
The rumors are the guy that he fought in Times Square. I don't remember his name. That guy, he was paid $14 million for that fight.
Who?
Devin Haney.
Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, he was paid
I don't-
14 million for Jose
That's
Ramirez.
the problem. And then
He
other
was paid 12 million for Brian Norman.
That's
the
what I'm
least
saying.
amount, the last fight on his contract, as the way they broke it down, and his so-called family and everybody broke it down. They're trying to say it's more, but when you look at the numbers, it is what it is.
But
His last fight is supposed to be estimated somewhere between $9 and $11 million, and he needs to find that opponent to justify that $9 to $11 million payday he's supposed to be getting.
I don't know who.
I don't know who either. That's
Like,
why he's looking
crazy.
at. That's why he's looking at some of the dudes. That's probably why everybody's banking on him and Ryan, because then if he gets the Ryan fight, it makes perfect sense. He might get more than the 11 million.
The first one was a freaking disaster. So like they promoted wrong. They, instead of staying in Las Vegas or California, I don't know why you're coming to New York City. That is, people in the East Coast is totally different from you guys, and over here you don't have the same fan base as you have over there in California. Like, whatever, like, I don't know. Turkey is giving some crazy numbers to some boxers, and it's affecting boxers like Hitchens, right? Because now, look what happened to Andy Cruz, right? Like he's still with Matchroom too. He was the co-main event in that fight, in that card of Camboso versus Hitchens. They never sold it to the Puerto Rican people, and we're good with Andy Cruz, right? We will support it. So the stadium was not that filled. So the next fight that now is going with Murataya, because Murataya or Andy Cruz team said that we're not going with the Turkey over there to Saudi Arabia. So that shit went to a bid, and I think Eddie Wood bought it for like 800K, 800 something, whatever, or something like that. And you see, put it in a theater in Las Vegas, whatever, under the zone. So they're not paying these boxers their real value. If you don't go by the Turkey rules, I'm gonna make you go to a bid, and then the purse super low, and then I put you to fight in an empty stadium, super cheap, and you get the crumbs that I give you. I think Orengo can come through that stuff and get those bids. But anyway, and then you're overpaying these supposed superstars that don't sell nothing and don't have a big fan base, but you're paying them millions. But the guys that can fill up stadiums and can sell cars and got talent, you only don't promote them and pay them shit, and or don't have them fighting. Look, Hitchin is not fighting. They put it out of the card. Oh, and your mandatory don't want to fight you, but anyway, I pull you out of the card because you're not entertaining. No, I want something else. Like, I know what their game is doing. I'm telling you, they're trying to implode the boxing. And then make, but I don't know. We
came to that conclusion. I came to that conclusion a minute ago when he was talking about the Zuffa boxing, and then looking at how the Turk came in and he just bubbled it. But go ahead, Dev. You wanted to say something. I seen you took yourself off mute.
I just wanted to comment on the Devin Haney. You talking about Devin Haney and his purses, right? I think his biggest fights are probably at 54. Those are gonna be his big money fights. I think he makes some good money at 54, especially with his style. I just don't think a lot is going on at 147 right now. I have no interest, zero interest in that Ryan Garcia. What's the guy he's fighting? Yeah, I'm just not interested at all.
No. Let me ask you something, because you wasn't here though. I was gonna ask you this. You wasn't here for this episode, and we'll kind of like start fading out now because we've been on here for a minute. But I did this one, and Watch the Throne. I did this episode the other day, and it's like our biggest night thus far in boxing because it's 3 different cards. And we got Bakran Murtazaliev against Josh Kelly. And he's the IBF champ. Then we got a unification with Xander Zayas and Abbas Baru. So we got three out of the 4 champions fighting on the same night. One is a unification with the WBO and the WBA, Xander and the Boss, and then you got Bakram defending his title. And then you got another card with Shakur and T.O. We talked about that, and Jermaine and Keyshawn. And I was asking who could steal the show. Who on February 1st, who is everybody going to be talking about based on their performance? What you think, Dev?
Oh man. I'll probably have to go, if I had to rank them, I'll probably go Tio. If he can stop Shakur, hit him with a good shot and stop him. Bakram, man, that dude, he just gonna get rid of that guy, man. I like Josh Kelly, man, but this dude Bakram got some cement in the hands. I think he could put on one of those kind of like how Benavidez did Homeboy on that card just now, like just a beating. But it's expected from him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he could put on one of those. I think it's expected in that fight. The Keyshawn Jermaine Ortiz, man, you know what? I had Ortiz at first, but now I'm leaning towards Keyshawn just because of the footage that I'm seeing. He's having a good camp, man. He looks really good. He looks sharp. So I think he's coming in there with some heat. And that last fight, honestly, I think that might be a pick'em fight with Xander. Because I've seen some tape on Baru. He's nice. He's very slept on too. Not a lot of people talk about him.
Word. So you don't think so? Yeah, because I've been hearing mergers out there. Everybody say it's just the AC be saying it too. It's just the IBF rehydration. That's the only reason. I'm like, nah, that might be an ass whooping.
That's why nobody's jumping to fight him, man. I would love to see him in boots. I would love to see that fight.
It's supposed to be next, like supposedly, because Eddie got that, he won that first bid, so he say he won that with a 2-fight deal with Bakram. We got to see, because you got to take what come out about Eddie. But that was my understanding when he actually bid for and won that fight, because them not his fighters. I mean, I think Josh Kelly is Josh Kelly affiliated with. I don't think Josh Kelly would match for him, but somehow he bid on that, and the premise was he bid on it for a 2-fight deal so that he can line it up with Boots. Like that's, I maybe I'm a dreamer, but that's what I recall, because I reported on it when it first happened. But this is my take, and I'll let everybody else close out after this. I still got Jermaine Ortiz, and I'm gonna give y'all a fun fact. Despite Teofimo Lopez and the seesaw effect where he get high and get low, he's UD'd his last 4 opponents. Those were unanimous decisions. So unless the business of boxing say Shakur can go in there and do the same thing Jermaine Ortiz done, if that happens and the judges are scoring the same way, that could still be a UD for Tio, unless the business of boxing is saying they want Shakur to move forward, which I kind of think they do. So I don't know if Tio will be able to escape with that same kind of performance against Jermaine Ortiz, but he has, like, the last time he pretty much he damn near lost.
Guys, real quick, I'm gonna say bye. I'm gonna go. I spent like 30 minutes, but take care, guys. Thank you. Be the next
all right, Melazar, I appreciate you, man. We're gonna set that debate up though. But he lost to arguably lost to Sandor Martin. He got the decision, but Sandor Martin is 40-2, and Sandor Martin is a skilled boxer. Tio has had his share of pure boxers on his come up, and he has a vast experience. People take away from his resume, but his resume is one of the best resumes out there. Like, it ain't no fluff. It ain't no fluff in there. And he UD'd his last 4 opponents. So for me, I'm almost willing to say, man, I might pick everybody on the left, man. I might just put 50 on everybody on the left, man. Be a homer for Xander. But I don't know about that fight. I don't know. I can't, I really don't know. So I might leave that out. But my wild pick, man, is to pick 2 upsets and for Bakram to get the stoppage. And I'm gonna try to see what that line. I might just float 50 out on that, man, just to see what it do. If I'm wrong, that'll be some wonderful crow. But right now, it's still some time. I go back and forth, but I don't think Keyshawn is in a good headspace. He's doing too much interviews. He's spending too much time. He's not focused. I don't see anything from Jermaine. He did like 2 interviews, and he's been out. You know what I'm saying? He's been out and focused. And another thing about Keyshawn, he don't have no legs. He like Wilder, man. He like Deontay Wilder, man. He don't got no fucking legs. I'm like, I've been looking at that. I'm like, you need your legs, bro. And you going up to another weight class, your endurance, and Jermaine can move them legs. And Keyshawn is not like people be saying he a knockout artist. I don't really put him in that knockout artist category. I think that he is sleeping on Jermaine. If Jermaine is who we think he is, and he stopped his last 2 opponents, he's been more active too here recently. I think that this is gonna be a knuckleball for Keyshawn. If I'm wrong, I'll eat crow. I will eat crow. It'll be some of the best crow. I like eating crow because when I eat crow, that means some shit that I didn't ever expect happened. So boxing fans win if I have to eat crow. So that's my breakdown.
Just me on the Keyshawn thing. I'm standing by my breakdowns. I'm standing by everything I said. I believe this is going to be the night of what's perceived to be the upset, because when you look at the night of upsets, the night that Sabril lost and Gary Antoine lost, it was multiple cards on that night. It was this exact type of situation. So familiarity says, hey man, we may get some lightning strikes here. You know what I'm saying? But the footage that I've most recently seen of Keyshawn, he's doing this pad work and he's slow, like he's trying to get muscle memory of working the pads. Maybe that was footage of when he first got there. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it looked like this is not the Keyshawn I'm seeing. You're not looking at sharp, like you got this weird stance. And why, if you hit in the midst, why are you so freaking dry? You know what I'm saying? If you're this dry, I'm asking the question, were you drinking before and now you can't necessarily sweat it out like that? You're going through some sort of dehydration or something. I don't know. But the way he just kind of looked dry, slow, and methodic, I was like, whoa. And the clip, it's like a good solid minute. You know what I'm saying? Of him going through many different things. He's working on footwork, then he's doing some pad work, then he's going back to footwork. And you never see him in a state of putting on a sweat. Like even when you watch Shakur train in these videos and clips, you see him in a sweat. So I was just like, man, I don't know if y'all trying to mess with people or try to send a false message or whatever, but if this is recent, something ain't looking right here. You know what I'm saying? So
interesting point, man. I ain't pay attention to that.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, that's what's making me double and triple down. Now again, I'm gonna say this just for pure context. I was saying the same thing about Devin Haney videos when he was with Brian Norman. But I was actually telling on myself because I kept on saying in the videos, he's only working on one thing. You know, you only see him doing one thing, trying to deliver that hook, whether it's a counter hook, a check hook, whatever it is, but it's just a hook, and that's the only thing you see him working on. I'm not seeing him do the footwork, the drills, and all of this other stuff. So they kept on putting it out there that whether you think the way it looks or not, this is our secret weapon against him because we know he's a sucker for this punch. And we gonna show y'all that. I didn't read into that, and then when it happened, I was like, oh shit. That's why they kept on showing that. They were showing, yeah, this is our weapon that's gonna slow this young man down. And they did it in the first round and dropped him with it, stunned him, and then dropped him in the second round. I was like, wow, that's what I was looking at. Wow, okay.
Interesting, AC.
Yeah.
Hindsight is 20/20 like a motherfucker. So when I look at all of these type of situations, I'm asking myself, I see what I see, but am I doing the same thing, or are these guys doing the same thing, playing the same game? It's now just up to fight night, but just the way I'm looking at Keyshawn, I was just torn. I was just like, whoa, that's crazy work right there. You dry as hell, bro.
Man, to your point too, Body. Who's to say that side of the page you just had up is more skilled than the other? Like the Shakur, Keyshawn. Yeah, like who's to say the right's more? If you look at them, they're pretty much evenly skilled. Each line that goes up, each matchup that you, except the Bakram, outside the Bakram, can you make a case that side is more skilled than the other? I don't know if you can. From top to bottom?
That's what I've been trying to say. I mean, I know T.O. said some adverse things in the past, but I used to be a big T.O. fan. I'm still a T.O. fan. I think he fucked up. I'm trying not to be petty, because if I was, I'd be doing gossipy content like everybody else, but I don't do that. I'm looking at skills, and when the big fight come up against Southpaws at that, there was a reason why Loma put his hands in his pockets. You can say what you want. And then at the very end, he was getting ready to stop Loma, and Loma headbutted his ass. You know what I'm saying? So he knows something. And T.O., yeah, he been doing a little something. They've been putting out a little like microwave promotion here lately. But I got a feeling in my gut that T.O. is gonna show out, man. And I haven't seen other than the adversity with Zepeda, and we know Zepeda ain't got the power that they trying to say Zepeda. They trying to boost that up. And I'm like, I'm not shitting on Zepeda at all. But I know if T.O. catches ass like that, it's gonna be a different fight.
Zepeda don't have that fast twitch. T.O. got that twitch.
Yeah.
It's totally different. The placement on T.O. shots is precise, it's calculated. When T.O.'s patient, but can still cut the ring off at the same time, like how he mirrored Loma for the first 8-9 rounds. Loma couldn't get a shot off. He was scared. He looked timid in that fight. I've never seen Lomachenko up to that point look like that, like just not throw his hands.
I'm gonna say this. I saw the clip is probably 25, maybe 30 seconds long, but it's just a bunch of short things of what T.O. is doing, or just these quick snapshots of things T.O. was working on. You see T.O. doing like this kind of shadow boxing type stuff, but he does this move where he's the dude that's standing there. He's at a good distance away from T.O. T.O. does this move where he coils up and then shoots in mad low, boom, does that little stab jab type thing, and with the same arm just loops right over, wow, in the same motion, and then he backed out. I was like, hold up, what the fuck did I just see? I kept on watching that clip. I must have watched that clip maybe 10 times, but it was so new that when I was trying to send it to Body, this other thing kept on showing up, and I'm like, that's not the clip, and I couldn't, and I'm scrolling down, and I'm like, I can't find this clip, no matter how much I was trying to put it in, and it was just a short, I guess, of what somebody put out, or it just looked like I never seen nothing like that, and I'm like, yeah, that's the type of thing that if you are able to pull that off, that Philly shell, the first punch will make the person be like, oh shit, you hit me, and then it just comes right over the top. Wow. I was like,
I gotta look
that's
for that.
That's the type of punch that'll really, really, shock a person and put him in a certain state. And then he was right there. I was like, wow. If you're working on something like that, I don't know what type of training Shakur can do to be able to counter that. Like,
If
Yeah,
if
that's
Theo does that, if he clips Shakur and stops him, would you say he's a Hall of Famer?
a 2-time lineal champion.
Yeah, well, he would be 3 at that point, right?
Beat lineal champions to get his strap.
Mm-hmm.
You got another former lineal champion coming up to your weight class, and this will be the 3rd real champion you fought. I'd say that's a pretty strong argument for a Hall of Fame, for a Hall of Fame fighter, because I don't know how many times a fighter. They say it's quite a rarity for a fighter to be able to take it once. You did it twice, and now you're facing your 3rd real champion, or you could say in this guy, a former real world champion. So
I think. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No, I'm done.
No, I think he already a Hall of Famer, man. I don't buy into. I think he already is, man. I think he'll be a definite lock if he beat Shakur. He's gonna be a definite lock.
Yeah,
he's gonna be a definite lock. But I think he already is, man.
Okay.
Because we can say what we want. I mean, I was following that story when they put out that franchise thing, and that franchise was a designation of an elevation. So technically, he was undisputed. Like, people be debating that, oh no, it was the other belts. Like, no, because they advertise. When you go back and look at the fight, they advertised it as that. They went back and rewrote history after that fight. I'm like, you can't do that, especially if by designation of franchise belt, because it's the same shit. Like, cause you can't have it both ways. When Canelo got the franchise, it was an elevation. That meant he was higher. That means that reigned supreme over everything else. They reverted back when it come down to Tio. You know what I'm saying? So technically, he was, and they advertised it as such. Like, when you go back and look at the fight, that's why I say people don't even be watching boxing. So, you know, and I mean, Josh, he didn't have the belts, but you know, that's a different conversation as far as undisputed. But he was the lineal, so you know, I think he's already a Hall of Famer. And Teofimo got one of the best resumes out there. He's you know, he make his little idiot bonehead little things. You know, I dug in his, you know what I'm saying? I dug into him for a minute, but when I was on him and saying, nah, we got to nix this shit because this ain't cool, everybody was saying, man, fall back. So I fell back. So now they trying to promote this fight based on that and things he said in the past. And now they trying to say he don't give back to the community. I'm like, man, shut the fuck up and fight. You know what I'm saying? And that's why they got to fight, man. I'm excited about it. We got fight what, the day after tomorrow? Well, technically tomorrow. Now, tomorrow we got to fight because it's Friday now, but Saturday we got to fight, and then next week we got like a big ass boxing night. So we'll see, man. Of course we're gonna do more episodes between now and then.
Yeah,
you know, but I agree.
Ain't next week fight week?
Yeah. For that big night, the big night with the 3 cards, but shit, this weekend fight week. It's fight week. So shit, Saturday we need to see more Ty and Andy Cruz Dan, and a couple other people on that undercard. So yeah, man. I think this was a good segment, man. I appreciate you, Dave. If you want, you can put your email in the private chat. When I send out my links, you'll get it. If you know, I don't know if you get your notifications, but I'll put it in there. And if you want to jump on when I go live, I'll have at least send out the link to your email. I do that with a couple people, so that's open. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can. You bring good conversation, man. You ain't with that messy shit, and I could tell you really like boxing. That's what this channel. That's who gravitates towards this channel. That's why I say it's the 300. Like, these are boxing peers, like on PEDs over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we try to like stay. We talk a little bit about the outside of the ring shit, but you see how we get down, and we always have a good show, man. I appreciate you coming through. I appreciate you coming through, AC, man. What y'all got?
Definitely.
Yeah, I appreciate that for sure. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
All right.
Just to end everything on people. I have no ill feelings towards Malazar. I know we're both extremely passionate about our views in boxing and stuff like that. I look forward to the debate. When I was quiet, I was actually doing research to some of my talk for how I'm going to lay down my strategy and how I'm approaching this debate that we're gonna have next week. I'm a person that when I'm into it, I start immediately. It's no wait. You know what I'm saying? So if it was like we making up we gonna sign for a fight and the two of us are actually in the same room together. Once both of our names are signed, I'm doing push-ups like, yeah, bro, I'm already doing push-ups. What you doing over there standing? And I'll then start doing jumping jacks in the office and everything and say, you know what, I'm running home. Get my sneakers out the car. I'm going to run home. Because that's, you know what I'm saying? I just get hyped for stuff like this. And I have to give Malazar his props because the Muhammad Ali was signed pretty much 5 years before Mike Tyson retired. So the last 5 years, you might as well say Mike Tyson was retired because that wasn't the Mike Tyson in the golden era of Mike Tyson when he was making a $30 million per fight. So the Ali Act was signed in 2000. So you know what I'm saying? Y'all, if y'all tune in for the debate, you'll see I'll formally tell him himself, and then it's gonna get heated. So yeah, at the end of the day, man, great show, man. And thanks for giving me and Malazar the platform to actually look forward to this debate. So this will be a new wrinkle in the show and shit like that. So it'll be a good one.
I appreciate it as always, man. I know y'all be having to get it off your chest. And I'm interested because I looked at the Muhammad Ali Act and I hear people acting like they know a lot of we call them barrack lawyers, you know what I'm saying? Barrack lawyers. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that because y'all gonna go at it. And I'm gonna let y'all have it. I'm gonna mediate it. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be time. I'm gonna come up with the rules, and next week we gonna get it on.
All right, for sure.
All right, AC man, appreciate you, man. I ain't see that message yet, Dev. If you want to put it up there before.
Let me try it again. Yeah, let me try it again. Yeah, I'll put it right in right now. Man, appreciate it, man. When are you going live again?
It might be tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I like to see the weigh-ins, and depending on the warm and fuzzy I get, you know what I'm saying? I do kind of want to book in this. I want to go live one more time before the Andy and Moritaya, because I seen that Moritaya is a little bigger than Andy. You know what I'm saying? Like he look size-wise, it's gonna be an interesting fight. I mean, I go back and forth with this one all the time, man. So I'll probably be tomorrow. For real. I'll probably go tomorrow, but I know I want to go before they fight. I know I'm gonna say something about them based on the weigh-in. I like to see the weigh-in, man, because it's damn near. I gotta damn. If I could do a show right before they walk out in the ring, once I see him in the locker room, I would, because I gotta see that shit. Because like shit changed, man, from the weigh-in to like how they moving and how they look. Sometimes I'll be seeing these boxers in the locker room. I'm like, why they look like that? I be asking about, hey, why they look like that? I was like, oh man, don't tell me it's one of them. Like I gotta see that shit, you know. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, I got your message up there too. So I hit you up whenever I go live. I'll send the link. It ain't no pressure if you available. That just lets you know straight up that you can just jump right on and be on the panel instead of coming to the channel. So I'll include you whenever I put out the link.
Nah, that sounds good, man. Have a good night.
All right, you too, man. Be easy, man. We got another fire show tonight, y'all, man. Man, we be passionate about that boxing, man, and we keep it boxing. We stay on topic. We try not to get toxic. You know what I'm saying? That's what Bodywork is all about, man. I love the 300, man. All it takes is 300, man. If you like the channel, man, if you like the content tonight, man, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed. I see that I'm still at 80-20. Like 80% of my people are not subscribed. 20% of them are subscribed. I get a lot of watch time though. So it's a lot of people that ain't subscribed but be watching the content. I'll be looking at them numbers. I'm a numbers-driven guy. This is silence is consent is the motto of the channel, which means all it takes for evil to prevail is for men and women to remain silent. So we speak to the things that need to be spoken to. You know what I'm saying? We're going to pull your coattail and talk about it. But we're not going to be messy about it. You know what I'm saying? This is Fruits and Veggies, not that Reggie. Fact-based content, not opinion-based, even though we have ours. We got a fire show coming up next week with AC and Melazar is going to debate the Muhammad Ali Act. It's going to get hot because they was passionate about it tonight. Almost took the show in a whole nother direction, but you know, I was just being a fly on the wall, letting them get it off their chest. Sometimes you need that in boxing, man. So many people that want to interject and put their, you know, their little piece in there, and you can't have a decent conversation. So I try to foster that here over here, man. So like the channel, you know what I'm saying? Comment if you can. We are monetized, super chat, you know what I'm saying? We got Cash App. You can support the channel in many ways. The best, and one of the best ways, if you can't support, if you ain't got no, you know, couple little, you know, scrappity scraps, hype the videos. You know what I'm saying? Hype the videos, man. And you can go back and hype old videos. That's the best way, so that the, you know, it do something to the algorithm. Because look, we don't bend. We don't fold, we don't compromise, man. We gonna keep our integrity. We're not gonna be the people that's gonna talk about you in public. I mean, talk about you in private and praise you in public. Nah. You know what I'm saying? We gonna say what we need to say out in public, and we gonna keep the same energy everywhere we go, whether it's the grocery store, you know what I'm saying, the doctor's office, you know, you going to go get an oil change at the mechanic shop. Like, we gonna be the same. And I'm not gonna change, you know. I can't even put on for nobody. I just gotta be me, man. We just love this boxing, man. That's why we talk it all the time. We try to make it interesting. My thumbnails be like the advertisement to pull you in, but we always have sensible, logic, topics, and conversation, breaking this boxing shit all the way down. Anyways, y'all, man, good show, man. I appreciate everybody who came through and showed love, man. There's a lot of y'all tonight, man, so I can't give you a shout out, but if I engage with you in the chat, man, I really appreciated the company, and y'all kept the conversation going. A lot of good points, man, and I'm just grateful, man, that y'all chimed in for your boy. Thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing, but we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga, right? Oh, okay, you want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.